Hey everyone! Hi! Hey everybody! How you're all doing? Hello! It is I, Trooper SJP, and this is the Academic Foxhole. Hey everybody, how have you been? What's been going on? I feel like it's been 2 years since I have last seen you all. Hey, Ice Bunny and Rissa, Krellin, Anarch Dovey, Cyclonus, PH, and what is it, Krellin? What is it? Levi, Javai, Sea Spider? Hi, everybody. My beard has grown so long, and I also didn't shave before stream today, so I'm a little scruffy. But the reason why I didn't shave, I have a reason. Hey, Grinny. Wait, no, don't leave, Grinny. Hello, Hrothgar. So the name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F or an M will appear. And then I say bo and a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. And then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Krellin, 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 Bobellin, banana, fanner, fofelin, fee, fi, mo, melon. Krellin. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F or an M will appear. And then I say bo and a B, then I say the name, the banana, fanner, and foe. And then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Levi, 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 bo, biba, banana, fanner, fo, fee, vi, fee, fi, mo, me, vi. Levi. Ooh, so I want to thank you all for the present of letting me sing. Thank you. And then also, of course, thank you for the subs. But I feel like the subs are just there so that I can go and get the ability to sing, because that makes me happy. Hey, Falcon. No, Grinny, don't leave. Grinny, don't leave. Don't leave, Grinny. Ooh, Reese's is good. I have been an affiliate for some time now. As a matter of fact, it is true. I have been. Oh. Hey, Kulan. Hey, guess what? Guess what happened while I was away on vacation? Guess what happened? No, Brad. That's what happened. Hey, Anarch Dovey. Yeah, so here's the thing. One of the reasons why I'm so scruffy... Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Ooh. No, Brad. At least I have chicken. No, Brad. So here's what it is. I did not shave, so I'm a little bit scruffy because I usually shave up here, you know? But I haven't shaved because I want to re-bleach and dye my beard before school starts, and I figured it would be best to do that. Right, I feel it's probably better not to shave before you bleach and all. Probably it's like better to shave, like to bleach with a little bit of your skin all regular and then dye. And then I was like, oh, so I'll just bleach and dye. I was thinking that I was gonna bleach and dye my beard Friday night because school starts on Tuesday, Wednesday. But here's the thing. I just realized right now is that tomorrow I have got graduate orientation and a bunch of meetings with my students. And so I probably should bleach and dye my beard tonight. But tonight is not so great because I have got well, maybe I can do it tomorrow morning? Oh, that's not great. Anyway, point being, I've got to just figure out the logistics of when because I want to be all fresh and blue. Maybe Levi, I should just show up to the meetings with a bag on my face. Right, Jer? That emote looks really good, right? The emote looks great. The problem with doing it during Critical Role, which was what I was thinking, is that I have to be in the bathroom. Well, you know what I could do? I could actually put Critical Role on my phone, put it up in the bathroom as I'm like, yeah, I should maybe, like, I could maybe do that. I will ponder it. Just do it after and then stun them with the change. Wait, it's not a real Critical Role tonight? Ooh, I do want to be blue. Da ba dee ba da do, da ba dee da. Wait, what are they doing for Critical? I will not do it at my desk because then it'll just be bleach all over the computers. It's the anime. Earway and hey, the anime. Eve way at gale out way of way at wakes te ute at gale young way. Earway and hey, the anime. E they I skays are ani say. Old man the adiation pray ooh are ooh three of us stay on way on rayo. E whatever ne eat ray at lands lay ev wed brands lay today. And when we see the end Lord will look like the I get ray in the IA. We're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. What? So Grinny. Okay, wait, Grinny just said, I don't have a resub, but I want you to sing to me anyways. Also, give us a beard bleaching stream. Screw Night in the Woods. But I don't have to actually move I'd have to figure out how to actually stream that without it being like madness. Also, Grinny, thank you so much for that tip. I also just need to tell you that I always sing it a little bit faster to make it a little bit more of a challenge, but like I feel really good about that. No. Grinny, we've always had music for donations. We just don't have it for bits. For some reason, the bits don't work right. And I have tried so hard to get the bits to work, but I just can't get the bits to work. I feel like the bits just don't have the range. They just don't have the range. Streamlabs is super sketch. So there's a Percy Vex wedding one shot. Well, Earway and hey, the anime. Earway and hey, the anime. Eve way at gale out way of what we at wakes te ute at gale young way. Earway and hey, the anime. E they I skays are ani say. Old man the adiation pray ooh yare ooh trivia stay on the young rayo. E whatever ne eat ray adleans lay of wed brands lay ute day. And when we see the end Lord will look like the I get ray in the IA. We're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. PH, no, PH, don't feel left out. PH, I have a question for you. Because I feel like this is a question I need to ask. Streamlabs doesn't have the range. So here's my question. You donated $5.69, but I assume you're donating in euros? Everybody. So wait, have you translated? Let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F or an M will appear. And then I say Bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fan, or info. And then I say the name again with an F, very plain. Then a fee, Fi animal. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Salixin, Bobalixin, Banana Fanis, Fophalixin, Fee-Fi, Momalixin. Salixin. Thank you so much for that sub, Sal. Way in airway in way, the anime earwig in the anime earwig in the anime. Wait, so I just want to know, have you figured out how to translate from euros so that it ends up being 569? This is my question. Kulon, I've missed you all too. Wait, oh, so you aren't doing them. I figured you did all this complicated math to figure out exactly how many euros it would be to translate into 569. This is what I figured you were just like, math assassin. That's all. Krellin says, Trooper, how dare you be gone for a whole weekend and deprive us of singing? This is the stream now. Singing stream. Phalixin. It also makes me grim. I do need a donut shipment. Math is not your science. That is fair. PH hasn't spent 30 years playing D&D. He's not a math master. Phallic skin is now a thing. Oh, yeah, no, that would be a thing. That is a thing that it is. So first off, my vacation was very good. It hasn't been 30 years yet. I have so many thoughts. So my vacation was really good. I took my weights with me on vacation, right? These ones, so that I could go and do my exercises while on vacation. And I did my exercises the entire time I was on vacation. I'm supposed to do them 4 times a day, and I think I mostly did them 3 times a day, but I did them. And I went to the physical therapist today, and it's looking good. But now I have to go and do like a lot more weights because I was only using, so I was doing basically, here you can see, I was doing this, right? Like 2 up, 5 down. I was doing that once a day. And now I also have to do this. And then I have to do this. And then I have to do, this. So I've got to do a bunch more weight now. And I'm going to do that. And then I've got to do without the weights for 50 reps. Anyway, that's what I'm doing for the next week and a half, is we're amping up the intensity. Highway to the danger zone. I'm gonna get you right into the danger zone. With a 2-pound weight. I mean, this is you don't even worry about it. Well, $1 is 6.5 kroners and €1 is 7.5 kroners. So there's close to being the same, right? I have the range. So I have to do 30 reps of dirty hand motions, dirty hand motions. I'm just saying it's a lot of dirty hand motions, but it's cool because it's good for your wrist. What'd be really, it wasn't actually tennis elbow. It was it was like a tenosynovitis right in here where something happened. I suspect it was my watch crown irritating my tendons, and it caused excess fluid to build up. And right before I went on vacation, they gave me a cortisone shot right in there. So now I just have to take care of all of the things, is what I'm trying to tell you. So I have to do a lot of the same exercises for tennis elbow, but it's apparently a wrist thing. Am I going to the King's Richard Fair at all? I don't even know when is King Richard's Fair? When is it? I needed leeches. Wait, is it this weekend? Or is how long is this thing going on? There's a Ren Fair, presumably, called King Richard's Fair, and it's happening, but I don't know where it's happening. or when? Someone give me details. So this is good for yours. That's not what Mom said. I look like I'm doing dirty, but no, I'm just doing exercises right now. It's not even dirty. My occupational therapist told me to do it, so it's not even dirty. I don't know why they didn't train me, because I don't know why they didn't train me. It happens every weekend for a month. Wait. Oh. I have never been to King Richard's Fair. The first weekend is this weekend. Wait, so King Richard's Fair is next weekend too. I'm writing this down because King Richard's Fair. I'm gonna write this down because I have a guest coming in town next week, and maybe I can take them. Carver. I'm just learning so much stuff then right now. The leeches only need to feed once a year. You need multiple tanks. Leeches only need to feed once a year? Is that true? Leeches, why are they so lazy? Come on. So Krellin notes, anyone that missed it in the Discord, the city attorney dismissed his ticket with a warning, and I didn't even have to talk to the judge, so the 4 cops blocked the freeway off-ramp for absolutely no reason, probably won't even be reprimanded. Okay. Well, wait, a liger? Atomica says that King Richard's Fair, which Jereb says bets the actor is called Dick's Fair, which makes sense, is pricey, but they have they have all sorts of shows, jugglers, muddy beggars. They might even have a tiger show with the liger, but a liger is a half lion, half tiger, and apparently they're like 10 feet. 10 feet long. That's like the entire story of a building. That's big. That's huge. That's all I'm saying. The 7th guess is where things go wrong. How many is this for you? Different people? Different people? If you would count different people, then I think this is not that. We're certainly not at 7 yet. Not at all. Not at all. They feed the green-bellied European leech. They feed for breeding, says Hrothgar about leeches. And the green-billed European leech is quite rare. Oh. As in this Saturday, not... Oh, I see. We have a world market next week, maybe where people come from all over the world. Wait, Krellin says, did you know there's a standard for how you name hybrid creatures like ligers? No, Krellin, what is the standard? I want to know. I know Professor is so busy they wouldn't mind once a year eating. Here's the thing, I actually really enjoy eating. I just don't do it as often as I should. Who's the 10-foot liger a tribute band of? The 10-foot liger is a tribute band for Def Leppard. Ligers are specifically a lion father and a tiger mother. A tiger father and a lion mother is a Tygon. Huh. So Tomica says about the liger, I was front row for the effort and I was not ready for it to stand on a ladder so they could show how big it was. See, that's okay. You know, I'm just saying that 10 foot is long. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's big. That is big. And it is excessive. And there's no need for any of that. What else do I want to tell you? Oh my gosh, there's so many things. So many things. Besides the fact that I missed you all, the cruise was good. I did not go on any excursions. I mean, I went off the boat, ship, pardon me, people get upset about that. I went off the ship in Mazatlan and Cabo San Lucas and also Puerto Vallarta. But instead of going on like pre-made trips, I just walked around. I walked around the cities. I saw what it looked like. I just sort of went to places and I was like, that looks like a cool place, and I went there and I just enjoyed the places. And then I really enjoyed being on the ship and sleeping with no alarm, not having to worry about where my food was coming from. And I read a little, and I did not have reliable internet because you don't have internet when you're out in the middle of the ocean. but that was also fine. I got it, like when we got to port, I could get a little bit of internet in there to say hi to everyone, to be like, hey everyone. But I had a really good time, and I got a lot of sun, and I did not get burned, but I feel like I got close because it was crazy hot in some of those places. And I was like, the first place I went, I did not have sunscreen. I did not have sunscreen the first place. And I was like, ooh, okay. So then I got sunscreen, which was expensive. That's okay. I got it just to make sure. But then I don't think I needed it after that. And it was fine. So that was all. 10-Foot Liger is my elite Tauren War Chief tribute band. Krellin, I like it. Are both of the Tygons and the Liger sterile? Maybe. Reading counts as work. Well, I had to do a little bit of work, and sunscreen is always really expensive in places that you need it, and that is true. I actually think, yes, and so I did do a little bit of work, but that was good because I was able to get some things sent off on the first day or second day so that people could look at it and so I don't have to worry about, I got fellowship stuff sent off to people to give me feedback on. And then I did a bunch of reading so that now I don't have to do a mount. Because here's the thing. Let's be upfront. Tomorrow I've got orientation and meeting with some grad students. Classes start on Wednesday, and I've got I've got some letters due Sunday. And so I've got to read a bunch of stuff so I can write this letter. And now I read almost all of it except for a book, and I just have to read that book this weekend, and I can write that letter, and I can sort of work on my syllabus tonight. And so basically, instead of like coming back from vacation totally stressed out because I have a million things to do, I have only like a little bit of things to do, and then I'm feeling pretty good about that. That's all I'm saying. No laser in the sky protection. Same for cubs of Tygon. Male Ligers and Tygons do appear to be sterile. Life needs life to live. No, my syllabuses are not ready because I just got back from vacation, but I'm going to work on the history of African American music tonight. Probably multitasking with a little bit of Critical Role. Life needs things to live. Sorry, Krellin, that is true. Life needs stuff to live. Not life needs things, stuff. Life needs things to live. Things. Do you not use the same ones every year? You seem like you work more than you need to. Hrothgar, I don't use the same ones every year. I use the ones from the year before as a basis, as a starting point, but I do things, but I do always sort of change and update the syllabus. Every time I teach a class, after every lecture, I take notes on what went well, what didn't go well, what I could do better next time. I do that for every single lecture, and at the end of the class, I take more notes on how I might want to change it or what I might want to do. And so that every time I teach a class, I try to change it a little bit so that it's a little bit better than the last time I taught it. And sometimes I just want to change things up a little bit. And so for History of African American Music class, I really want to split folk into country into two separate lectures, which means I'm going to have to cut something. But I also want to add in a lecture on like joyous music at the that's happening right now. It's really, so like basically I want to add 2 lectures, and I don't even have the space to do that right now. So I need to go back through and see if there's anything I can cut or move around in some way. So I'm going to sit at, and I have to like redo all of the sort of I do too much work, it's true, but I really want the class to always be like 10% better than it was the last time I taught it. All the time. Yeah. I don't have the time or the range, but if I can just make it just like a little bit better, And I realize life is life. Trooper didn't hear work smart, not hard. My teachers the same stuff until they get forced to change when... No. Your face is 10% better than the last time I saw it. Thanks. So here's the thing, right? I want to make sure that it's like just... always, every time that I never want to just rest on my laurels. And here's the thing, Lizzo wasn't on my syllabus last year, and I want Lizzo on my syllabus this year. But the problem is, where do you put Lizzo? So you may want to also check on the Roll20 Presents. Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Mad Mage? Wait, what? PH, I need more details. Mad Mage. What? Oh, was it the audience? What happened? I hope Blue Jay's okay. I hope Blue Jay's okay. And I hope it wasn't the audience being jerks, because that's not okay. And that was Monday. What day is today? Today's Thursday. Monday I wasn't back yet. Well, yeah, that is fair, PH. But what happened? This was the cast. They had a disagreement. Oh, an in-character or out-of-character disagreement? And PH, will you link it in our Discord under Stream Musings? Will you post a link? We have a Discord, everyone, by the way. And if you're not a member of our Discord, you should be. Thank you, PH. And I will definitely... Well, now I'm gonna have to find out what happened. Oh my, was it out of character, in character disagreement? Is the question. I hope everything's okay. Oh, it has been a rough time, hasn't it? Thank you, PH. It has been a rough time, is what I will say. People have been... I hope everyone will be okay. And, I've been, I will tell you what, it was a little bit weird to be basically without internet access for a week, and only having like a few peeps on Twitter and not even really having time to sort of check other things, and then coming back and finding out all sorts of things have been happening. And I missed a lot of it, and that's weird. That's strange. I hope everyone's all right. I'm gonna look into it. Spill the tea, but never the tea. From my understanding, it's about Blooj constantly getting placed as the opposite of the rest of the characters alignment-wise. Huh. I gotta tell you, I just is she playing good when they're I think vice versa, but now you know how I feel when I'm at my parents' place in the internet free zone. Hey, I get that, Ice Bunny. I'm thinking about dropping my D&D game for a similar reason. This is what in my opinion, this is one of the problems with alignment. Sal has got friends coming over for board games. Nice. Krellin says, I'm neutral and the rest of the party is good with a pacifist bard. So people always say, alignment helps people role play. And I'm like, does it? Or is it the way in which people, sort of use alignment to sort of create us versus them. Do you know what I mean? And I think people get weirdly dogmatic about alignment in ways that ends up causing people to treat other PCs not well in ways that I don't think they would do in real life. But then again, D&D is not about real people, it's about archetypes. So I suppose it is a little bit tricky. Krellin says, it's just I made a mercenary character for this module and the bard isn't really on board with following the module and the rest of the group is swayed by her. Huh. I think alignment is better as a guideline than a rule, says Atomica. And C Spider says it should be a motivational guideline for RP. Levi says, the number of times people have told me that lawful means they follow the law makes me want to join a cult dedicated to destroying alignments in D&D. Shavai says D&D has weird alignment, any depth to it, and it kind of falls apart. And of course, the problem is they've not been consistent either. What AD&D first edition says alignment is not the same thing that D&D 5th edition says alignment is. Like they've adjusted things over time, and people have come in different editions, and so they take with it different ideas of alignment. But my mercenary character obviously, says Krellin, isn't very swayed by we should take care of this kid instead of stop this evil cult we're being paid to stop. Well, yeah. I mean, it's, yeah. Oh. And I think also tricky, Anarch W says alignment is highly problematic and it tries to make rules for something highly subjective as morality. And it tries to make it objective. And I think for me, the problem is the way in which alignment ends up being seen as some kind of objective thing, and it's seen that way because you can detect it, right? So there's some kind of, it's sort of made objective, and I think that becomes really tricky. Realignment, says Forlasanto, Savage World's hindrances are a step in the right direction, but I'm even more of a fan of Fate's aspects for this. And I mean, aspects, I also really love games that have advantages and disadvantages. Though there's an element of bad dad in this, my character is a bad dad, abandoned his kid to adventure. Huh. Krellin, I've thought about this. Levi, player, I do this one thing. DM, what's your alignment? Shut up! And I think that for me, I started with D&D, of course, and had to deal with all of that, but I moved into games that just didn't have alignment, that had other ways of defining your character instead. And the things that they were not like, because the thing about them is you can detect it in D&D as if it's an objective truth. That's like, ooh, that makes it really difficult to see it as a guideline when people can cast no alignment on you and know what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like that's... Or back in the day when there were alignment languages, do you remember that? Like there were languages for your alignments. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying that it has shifted over time. It has shifted over time. The Matt did ID punitively, and Laura reacted very badly to it. He actually handled alignment the right way. He never told Laura Vex couldn't do something because she was chaotic good. He just made her chaotic neutral when she consistently failed to do good things. I'm going to come back to that, Krellin, because you're right, and I want to sort of explore that for a moment. It's like some people use alignment to shorthand their entire character to the point that any character they wrote lawful good on their sheet, they play exactly the same way. Easy solution, remove those spells from the game. And Arc W, the only thing I found good morality system was humanity in Vampire, since that's less to do with being good, evil, about being human. Well, yeah, because it's right, because Anarch W, because that like it really works there, I think. Is detect alignment in 5e? That's a good question. We should find out. Java, you ask a really good question. Why are objectively evil people allowed to go free in the D&D world? This is a good question. Sal says, considering Gary Gygax was a moral objectivist Christian, then other moral objectivist Christian thought was too extreme. Carrying alignment through the editions is bound to cause some moral objectivist problems. Yeah. Krellin notes that 5e is almost entirely limited to any mechanical effects of alignment. Well, that's good. Detect good and evil, detect specific monster types. Fae, devils, demons, angels, probably some unforgiven. That's interesting. That's interesting. So but see, okay, so here's the thing. To go back to one of the problems with how alignment often carries out, Krellin, you had noted that Matt didn't tell Laura that she couldn't do what she wanted to do. He just adjusted her alignment when she did things that didn't sort of fit in with that alignment. And the thing is, here's where alignment becomes a problem, is that players come to identify with alignments. They're like, I am this alignment. My character is this alignment. The alignment becomes a fetish object. And so when the GM is like, well, but that's not how you're behaving chaotic neutral or neutral good or whatever the thing might be, players will sometimes freak out because it's like the fetish imaginary that is more important than their actual behavior. And so they get upset because of the way that people end up seeing alignment, you know? And in my experience, says C-Spider, players tend to use alignment to justify what they want to do, but then take issue with when it brings consequences. Well, that's true. Krellin says, yeah, I think Laura did exactly that, though I think it also did make her adjust Vex's behavior a bit to make her more good after that. She just had to go through the stages of grief. Yeah, but I think that there's a way in which, yeah, I think that's true. But it becomes this weird, like, identity thing, right? That, like, Anarchdebate says, alignment also ignores the entire concept of intent and motive. Yeah, it's very, sometimes, then sometimes it doesn't. Like, it's very, like, it's so inconsistent how people are going to actually apply it in game. PH's alignment is something I think we all see very differently, and that's also one of these things that people end up interpreting it differently. So as Ozai told me, he thinks accepting surrender falls under good and not lawful. Right, and I think that, I mean, for example, if somebody if a person personally identifies with X alignment, they're going to interpret that alignment to be a positive thing, right? Because they're going to want, so here's the thing about alignment. Players will start identifying with alignments, and since the players start identifying with alignments personally, they then end up being invested in those alignments and certain interpretations of those alignments. So if they're like, I am chaotic neutral because that's the best way to be, and that's like the only way to be a good person, that's the best way to be a good person in the universe, and I'm chaotic neutral personally, they get super upset when people start interpreting chaotic neutral in some way that may not seem to be completely positive, because all the alignments, if you look at the player's handbook, has a positive and negative reading for both of them. Like, here's the positive reading of lawful good, here's the negative reading of lawful good, here's the positive reading of each one, right? And nobody wants to hear the negative reading of the alignment that they personally identify with. And so then people get really weird because there's like, I think the thing about alignment is that there's weird bleed. That's what I think. I think there's weird bleed with alignment. And I think that becomes a problem. Do not be friends, says Levi, with anyone who self-identifies as chaotic neutral. I'm just saying, you know. Yeah, so I think there are weird ways in which alignment causes bleed. That's what I think. And this is a thought that I'm just having at this very moment because I'm thinking about GURPS with its advantages and disadvantages system. And I don't identify with those advantages and disadvantages, right? And so when I make a character, and that character has intolerance this, or that character has phobia that, or that character has whatever those things are. I'm not invested in them in a way that I think that alignment sometimes causes bleed between people. Let's see. Or true neutral for that matter. Nobody wants Switzerland as a backup when everything goes bad. PH says there are different ways to look at why you accept surrender. Is it because you believe the enemy deserves to live and redeem themselves, or is it just how it's done? It's a rule of conduct that you accept surrender. It depends on the character. Or did you accept the surrender because you hope to actually torture them? Like, I don't know. Alignment is like every character has a really weird strict code of honor. Yes, Curlin, but nobody agrees with what that strict code of honor actually is, right? Like, so like everybody has this really weird strict code of honor, but nobody agrees on how you are supposed to interpret it. So everybody reads it slightly differently and everybody gets weird about it. That's what I think. Anarch Dovey says, alignment also makes characters really cartoon character that you simply can't identify with. Example, evil characters torture puppies and beat up the elderly, and good characters are never wrong. They do the right thing every time. Jer says, I think Verwin's the only one you got right, Sal, but you got aspects of most of them right. And see, Anarch Dovey, here's the thing that I think is the tricky thing about Dungeons and Dragons is that, and I say this with love and not an insult, knowing of course that we can all play D&D in multiple ways, right? D&D is cartoony, and I don't mean that in, like, people will use cartoony in a negative way. I like to say archetypal rather than cartoony. D&D was made to create archetypes as opposed to deep and complicated individuals. Now you can overlay that in, which I did. I'd like write whole diaries and whatnot. But as a game, it's meant to be. D&D says, Krellin says, D&D is a comic book, right? Like you are supposed to create the brave, the brave hero. I am the fighter. I am the wizard, right? Like these sorts of like, you create your character with these sort of archetypal building blocks. I am an elf, and I am chaotic neutral, and I am a ranger, like, and you all like in these things, and you're like, I am going to be what's his face from Lord of the Rings. What's his face? You know what I mean. What's his face? Elf. No, the elf. No, Krellin the elf. No, Legolas. Thank you, Legolas. I missed you too, PH. I missed you all, actually. I was like, I missed you all. I know, I was very sad. And the thing is, Atomika, I don't think it's RP training wheels. I think it's actually meant to model a particular type of story. And it's a type of story that is not in the media as popular today. Iffy. But there's a particular type of story that's a little bit bigger than life, where the characters are a little bit iconic, and you're going for that. Like, so, and I think that, like, I mean, for example, if I were going to run like Flash Gordon, for example, right? There are these certain kind of pulp games that you want that particular kind of, like, you want your villain, if you're playing Flash Gordon, to be a tad cartoony, right? Like, you don't want to know about like Ming the Merciless's sad backstory and have him be like, oh, but I was like, but my mom didn't love me and I'm so sad. No, you want Dick Dastardly to tie somebody up to the train tracks, and you want to punch the Nazis, and you don't want to think about whether or not the Nazi has like a tragic backstory. Like there's a particular kind of iconic, archetypal, slightly pulpy feel, pulp or comic books that people often used to want all the time in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and D&D matches that really well. It's just that we are now not exactly in that same kind of general mode with our storytelling at the moment. So like D&D becomes this kind of complicated thing where people want this other kind of storytelling with a rule set that was sort of made to give you iconicism and archetypalism. And you can do it, but there's like, I think they're just like little edges that rub a little bit weird. Rissa, I don't know. We will see. He hadn't said, oh, you're right. Let's see. for example, let's see, D&D is pulp. I think that's really true. It said Anarchdave says, I think that D&D is pulp. Right, I think it sort of has these really. I think D&D has these really strong pulp roots in what they were sort of thinking about, and I think that people always think about Tolkien, but I think there's quite just as much pulp and Dungeons and Dragons roots as there is Tolkien, and I think that becomes a thing that becomes a little bit sort of tricky. Flash, savior of the universe, bum 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 bum. Kulan says, I've challenged myself to play Haplessly Inept and Thief in Moorland, just see how useless I can be to society. So far, I've been arrested 12 times. You're poor thief. Yeah, so Flash Gordon movie was in 1980, but you're right, he's 1930s, 40s. And yeah, right, this is totally true, Krellin. Tolkien was a minor influence. Like, there are things about Tolkien that are in there, but there's a lot more stuff that was happening. And here's the thing I was thinking about. Here's how you know that here's Star Wars was originally kind of also in this sort of archetypal, sort of pulpy thing. And here's one of the reasons you can see that things have shifted. Flash Gordon from 1980 was trying to do that kind of earnest, sincere, archetypal, larger than life sort of 1930s, 40s thing, and people thought it was ridiculous. They're like, what? This is so campy. No one can take this seriously. This is like whatever. Because our storytelling modes have sort of moved away from that, and we will come back to it, I'm sure. But Krellin says, yes, that's why I love Flash. It's so earnest. First winged up. And that's the thing. I think that people miss this about Flash Gordon, the movie. They think that it's being silly when I think it's being earnest, and it's trying to do 1930s, 1940s earnestness in the 1980s, which is a bit of a clash because that's not what people weren't exactly quite certain what to do with that. But like when I saw Flash Gordon, I was young and I was like, I love this. I mean, as a kid, I quite enjoyed the earnestness, right? And I think that it was a 70s film, right? And I think that there's this sort of, and so here's the thing, Krellin, if you want to call it a 70s film, that means we have to think about the way, like the aftermath from Watergate, right? That kind of cynicism that's happening in the 70s, that kind of like, right? And I think that there's this sort of Flash, so a bunch of films from 1980 that I'm going to write a book about come out. Like you've got Flash Gordon, you've got Xanadu, you've got a number of films that are really going for an earnestness, often throwing back in some way to the 1940s. And they don't do well in the box office, but they become cult hits. So there's this real kind of complicated feeling about earnestness in that kind of slightly earlier way that that we don't know, you know, that we have a complicated relationship right now, is what I want to say. We have a complicated relationship with these things, and D&D was sort of built for that archetypal pulpiness, or as Krellin said, also comic bookiness, right? And we may, and as Jared says, we may get that again at the end of the Trump era. Maybe we might. I'm interested to know. Like, I will be interested to know if we go back to that particular kind of. And the thing is, nighttime soaps had them. I mean, Crystal and JR from Dynasty and Dallas are very archetypal, pulpy villains, right? They're not like deep three-dimensional characters, more or less. They're like big figures. Wasn't the 80s like No Future Time, or was that a Europe thing? It was both. I mean, the thing is, the 80s, Thatcher closed working class jobs, but there was also a lot of money. The 80s was that time. The 80s is where we get cyberpunk, also the 70s, where it's a no future for the poor, but it's doing super well for the rich, right? So there's that big sort of widening gap. There's a widening gap in that moment. And so, yeah, it's like it's an interesting moment to see what we'll get. And I think that, and again, please note, you can play D&D in a lot of different ways. Clearly, you can do depth of character if you want to, right? You can do whatever you want. But the mechanics of itself, of the game itself, are not, are shaped around a kind of a pulpy archetypalness. And that's where alignment and the ways in which a lot of these things sort of come out. And I think they by adding backgrounds and trying to skills. All right, I think that D&D has sort of adjusted over time to try to get the kind of more method storytelling that has become popular. And but I'm just saying that is, it is a complicated thing. So it was, thank you, Anarch Dovey, thank you, load of money, thank you. Anarch Dovey, I know exactly what you're referring to. I'm seeing it. Jer says, we're already starting to see a pushback against the grimdark anti-hero archetype. And then Raiders of the Lost Ark was 81, full on pulp, right? And I think that there was, in the 80s, this really kind of interesting rise of sort of pulpy things, either in things like, because Star Wars was 78, and that was pulp. So Star Wars had it, Raiders of the Lost Ark had it, but I think even Dynasty in Dallas had it. I think there were these, and remember, of course, Happy Days was happening at that time. So I think there's this really kind of complicated relationship sort of split between kind of these weird grim dystopias, but then also these kind of pulpy things as well happening at the same time. I think it's complicated, and I think that's really interesting. Sal says, grim is fine, dark is fine, no hope in the world is not fine. Nightbutt, like, what are you doing, Nightbutt? I did see the Kotaku article on D&D's origins. I mean, I knew most of that stuff, and everyone it's so strange because everyone's like, what? Who knew that Dave Arneson was involved? I was like, oh my gosh, we've been saying that forever. Rissa says, by contrast, Blade Runner is both pulpy and dystopian and 19. Yeah. And I think that is really fascinating that it is trying to mix all of those things. Anarchdebate says, I also seen a lot of evil characters are bad and you are bad for playing them. Opinion pieces on the internet. I do not agree with that at all. Yeah. Well, and this is Anarchdebate because y'all get me to talk about things. Anarchdebate, because what I have noticed is how do I phrase this? It's like, I feel like the 70s are like 74 to like 82, 83. It's not like 75 to 85. It's like 74, 75 to like 82 maybe. Yeah. So the thing is that I see a general, I will get back to the evil characters. PH and all, what I note is that oftentimes when we say decades, when we say, right there, that's right. See, like, yes, what Crown says, there's a lag time in the creation of media, and often we sort of give something an entire decade when that's not exactly how it worked out. So, for example, the 50s, when we talk about the 50s, the 50s, poodle skirts and rock and roll, right? That starts in 54, 55, and it's sort of like, I'd say, 54 to 64 is like the rock and roll era, because 64 is when the Beatles hit. When people say the 60s, they don't mean 1961. They really mean like once the Beatles hit in 64 and early 70s, right? So they're going like the mid 60s, they mean like 68, 69, 67, 71, 72. Around then is what people say, like, because Vietnam ends in like, 74? So when people talk about the 60s, they kind of mean like 64 to 74. And yeah, right. And then when people say the 40s, they kind of mean World War II. So then you kind of get like 39 to 45, which leaves you with 45 to 55 being who knows what, which is why like nobody talks about Korea. Because like that, we don't really have a thing for that, really. We might get a little bit of later, like maybe 46 or 47 to the 40s. But we start getting the late 40s, people start kind of drifting off. So you kind of got that little hole in the early 50s when no one really knows what to call it. Yeah, Krellin notes, even the most famous show about Korea was actually about Vietnam. Totally. And Hrothgar says, yeah, the ideals of a decade aren't likely to hit at the start of the decade. It'll have something flown between major influences, right? And sometimes we're only talking about half decades. Like the 70s is kind of the late 70s and maybe a tad into the early 80s, but then like 82 and just 89 are very different. So it's like really, like it's tricky. Yeah, it's tricky. That's what I would say. Krellin notes that 3rd edition D&D evil means both selfish and cartoon supervillain, and that is true, which is very confusing. But I also think... Oh, Jer, you mean like that hole in the early 80s of Gen Y? Yep, we just erased all of Gen Y. And I think this is also really interesting, how we like to have these easy categories, but life doesn't fit that way, and so then things get left out. The Wirtschaftswunder years, maybe Ice Bunny. All Southern literature of the Civil War. Korean McCarthy, 45 to 55. Yeah, right? And so we don't say it's like the 40s or the 50s. It's sort of tricky. See, the thing is, but Gen Y sort of got renamed and sort of didn't get renamed, because when I was growing up, my sister was Gen Y and she was 78. So people in like 78, 79, 80 were Gen Y. But now, if you're in 78, you'd be Gen X. And I think if you're 80, you're a millennial. So they've kind of redefined those cutoff dates. You know, it's ridiculous. Here's the thing: when I was growing up, yeah, Krellin points out the generation borders are always fuzzy. Yes, and then they get rejiggered, right? They're also marketing BS, right? So they did decide that Rissa is correct, that they did decide that Gen X doesn't exist because nobody cares. Krellin says, my father born in 42 and Sisti isn't a boomer, right? It's so interesting. People get really complicated about these things and they insist that that is complicated, right? Like, where do we decide to put these? And I actually think that there was a thing about, there's also trickiness about the beginning of Gen X, like whether or not people sort of count, like there are people who, yeah, those borders, the borders of those generations really are quite tricky. So, yeah. I've also had older people, Gen Xers, say things like, you're not a millennial, you're just Gen Y, because millennial is a certain personality archetype to them. Not being sure if they count as the core of Gen X, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not sure everyone accepts Obama as Gen X. That's another good, right? So, like, does he count as a Gen X? Does he not count as a Gen X? Gen X grew up in Massachusetts in a private school for gifted youngsters. I see you, PH. Yes. Yeah, it's really tricky. Oh, so here's the thing about playing evil. Here's the thing that I've noticed. I wanted to get back to this. We are currently in a moment, and I find this a little distressing, that people are equating depiction with endorsement. Yes. I did want to say something about bad dads. Right? That this is the thing that people are like, oh, you have a bad person, that means your game is bad or your film is bad. But they do not recognize the ways in which sometimes playing bad people or having bad people is a way to critique them or a way to explore it. It's not necessarily the same thing as endorsing it, right? And also there's a thing called catharsis. There's a lot of things, right? I mean, there's so many ways in which darkness, sadness, sorrow, pain, suffering, overcoming those things, changing those things, dealing with those things, are they have a lot of functions in society, and people deal with them in different ways. And I will say, like, full on, when I was a kid and I was an outsider being bullied all the time, playing evil is fine. Playing evil because you want to be evil in real life but can't, probably not. Although, Javai, I agree with you. On the other hand, if they play evil in a game and everybody consents and is cool with it, and so therefore they're not evil in real life, I would rather that happen. You know what I mean? I have played was he a bad dad? I don't know how bad he was. Wait, bad dad or sad dad? Oh, no, he's more of a sad dad than a bad dad. Yeah, I've seen people gleefully go into torture scenes, and that's the sort of evil role play I get concerned about. I'd rather they... Yeah, John was more a sad dad than a bad dad. But I feel like I reset the call in the stream to come back to darkness, sorrow, pain, suffering. Is to be reading my high school poetry? I'm just saying, Sal. Here's the thing I was thinking about. When I was in... So you know V, that some of you don't know it, but there was a TV show called V about aliens. I'm glad for bad, sad, mad dads. Mad, sad, bad. There was the TV show V about these aliens that come in peace to say hi to everyone. They're like, hey, we're aliens, and we want to, like, help you out and cure cancer and all this stuff. But actually, they were evil lizard aliens that wanted to eat us all and destroy the world. My friend buys cheap china to break when she gets sad. You can trust her not to break stuff in the china shop. People need to think more. He's not even letting Selmers read her pet poetry. I'd like a system with dynamic element so your character behavior can shift depending on choices made. Or just not even have alignment. Right? They had aliens with perfect perm. So here's the thing. That show came out when I was in middle school, right? And in middle school, I was really bullied. And I felt really alienated from my peer group because they were super mean to me. Now, when I watched V, which I loved, who did I identify with? I identified with the evil aliens because humanity was not exciting for me at that point in time when I was an angsty 12-year-old. And me and my two best friends who were also bullied and who were also outsiders, we identified with the aliens because we did not see ourselves with the humans who were like representative of the people who were awful to us. And so there is like a whole, there's a whole tradition of outsiders identifying with villains because they're being told that they're villains, that they're outsiders, they're put upon. So I don't think that identifying with villains necessarily makes you a bad person. It kind of depends on your context. V is where the rumors of lizard people came from, but I think lots of people don't even remember V. They just remember the lizard people. I think that's true. Outsiders, stay golden, pony boy! Yes, Rothgar. And ever since identifying with the V aliens, Trooper has been on board the rich. And this is also somewhat connected, right? There's a particular kind of, and so like what are we doing, right? And I just basically think that, I mean, for heaven's sakes, we Gen Xers, those of you who are out there, like one of our films was Heathers, for heaven's sakes, which is about like murdering the popular people. That would never fly today, but it was about murdering popular people because you were the outsiders, right? And was I gonna murder popular people? I was not gonna murder popular people, not in real life. But there was something cathartic about that moment where you're like, well, you think that I'm the outside alien? Fine, I'll be the outside alien. I'm gonna think that like Lydia and Diana are awesome, and I'm gonna like be exciting for them. But the others totally, Krellin says, they probably deserve their murder. Javai says, I probably worded it poorly, meant more mundane evil, like extreme sexism or racism. Well aware of the whole identifying evil. Oh, yeah. And so I think that it becomes a sort of complicated thing that you're being sort of nuanced, Javai, but some people now are like, oh, the minute you have any kind of villainy, that's bad. And I was like, well, hold on. What are we talking about? Like, are we talking about the tortured vampire? What are we talking about? And like, let's find a way to sort of recognize that there is sort of difference, right, in how these things manifest. Stacy and I went to the cannibalism exhibit at the Museum of Man while we waited for our play yesterday. Ooh. Lots of care taken to show that a lot of the ideas we have about cannibals were actually used to marginalize certain populations. Ooh, that's really interesting. I also want to point out something about sort of badness, like sexism and racism, et cetera, et cetera. I played Gianni, the character that I played, the sad dad. I built him specifically to be a bigot. He was bigoted against AIs and kind of modern society in general. Yeah, he was a bit of a bigot. Now, I didn't do it because I love bigotry and I wanted to like enjoy being a bigot. I did it because I saw it as an RP challenge. And I wanted to see if I could play a character who was bigoted and if I could learn something from that experience. And maybe to see if I could get him to be less bigoted at the end of the campaign. He got better. He got better. He did not get as far as I wanted him to get, right? But there is something valuable in exploring these things at times, and it's not just indulgence necessarily. Now, some people just indulge those things so they can be awful, and I've seen those players and they're just awful because what they're doing is they're actually bullying other players at the table, and that's no fun. You know what I mean? Like there are ways in which players just want to be bullies and not cool, and that's not like to other players, and that's no good. But sometimes people are working through stuff and they want to explore things. They want to be an RP challenge, and they're doing something sort of in cooperation with other players, and then it can be fine. Other 80s, 90s flashbacks. Homecoming Queen's Got a Gun, which was hilarious. Don't like Mondays. Isn't the Museum of Man a photo exhibition? Yeah, he did learn to be better. I wanted him to get better than he did. He was slow, but it was a slow change. It would not have felt authentic if he just changed and was like really awesome just that quickly, but he got better. He just was working on it slowly. Yeah, only at the ones indulging really, so it's a pretty small. Yeah, I think that's true. And of course, they are there, and they're just like terrible, terrible. But it was interesting, right? It was interesting for me. Like for me, I wanted to play a character that was so different from the way I thought about things, and I wanted to see what I could learn from that. So I think. Like, I just don't think there's anything inherently wrong with playing a character who is old-fashioned or who's this or who's that, or playing in a campaign. But it depends on what you're doing, right? It's not the thing. Like, you could also play in a game that's all technically good guys and have that game be super creepy and, like, super gross. You know what I mean? So I think that the problem is that it seems to me as if we have lost a lot of nuance in the current moment, where we're not really ready to see nuance in our games. We see something, we're like, no, none of that, no, for anyone. And I was like, if you don't want it, that's cool, don't have it. But like, it's like not inherently wrong for things to explore different things, sadness, sorrow, different kinds of things, or joy, whatever, power, whatever. Krellin notes there's a sharp change in the tone of the media after 9/11, and that is true. Anarch W says, I'll be playing a Road of a Beast of Path of Nomad Vampire Dark Ages in my RP challenge someday soon. I love a good RP challenge. Farlo Santos says, I'm all for there being some evil themes in RPGs. You can't free the slaves if there aren't any. You can't really explore life as goblins without the cruelty being part of it, etc. But everybody has to be on board beforehand, and there has to be safety valves. Totally. Yeah. So, it's interesting because I was thinking about something, and Rissa will perhaps be able to speak to this as well. So I have run into a lot of people now in this current, like either on Twitter but in other spaces, for whom one of their hard lines for the game is no harm to children. They will not play in an RPG where there's any harm to children. Some of them will also say no harm to children or animals. So there can't be any harm to any dogs, or there can't be any harm to any children. Everybody else is fine. And if that is their line, that is totally fine. I will respect people's lines. But I have personally played in at least 3 campaigns where there was harm to children either actually happening or threatened to happen. Maybe more. And there was, and I remember in this one moment in, so first off, hello, that thing you like, how you doing? We're going to be playing A Night in the Woods. We're just getting back to meeting each other. So in the Call of Cthulhu game that Rissa, is GMing right now, a lot of children have been murdered. There's some evil, what are you doing, that thing you like? What are you doing over there? There are some evil serial killers who are cultists, and they have murdered children. And so that has happened in our game, and we know that these people are horrible. They've also murdered non-children. They've murdered a lot of people. And then in Transhuman Space, Whispers, the game where I was playing the sad dad, there was a toxic meme that was put out that sort of convinced people to kill their children, but it only targeted sort of like insular, kind of conservative, put upon people. And my character failed his will roll and got infected by that toxic meme, and so wanted to kill his child. And it was one of the most intense moments of RP where I rolled that will roll and I failed my will roll, and my character heads off to school to pick up his daughter, and all the other players are like, what? No. And they're trying to get a hold of him. He's not answering his comm link. Like, it was one of, like, in the end, he did not kill his daughter because the school did not release his daughter to her, to him. Actually would not release any of the children to any of the parents because this thing was going on. But that moment was so intense and so effective. It was like such an intense moment. And it was, I mean, I'm glad, right, that was like this really amazing RP moment that really affected that character for quite some time. And then I was in, like, I've been in a couple other ones as well. And actually, I actually was also in a campaign where my character killed her child, who was possessed by the devil at the time. It was complicated. But like that moment where he thought about it, he didn't do it, but he thought about it, that impacted him. He felt so guilty, impacted him. And one of the reasons why he ended up having less progress towards like moving forward in terms of, like, I said that I wanted him to be more progressive than he ended up being, because that happened. Like, it really pushed him back quite some time. But it also, like, it was complicated. And so while there are people who do not want to play in games where there is any possibility of harm to children happening, I have been in multiple games where that has been a possibility or a reality, and has been really good for the games that we were in with the players we're in. So I am just, I get upset when people say things like, oh yeah, if you would be in a game where children are harmed, you're a horrible person. And like, no one should ever do that because anyone who does that is a sick, terrible person. Hold on a second. Statements speak for yourself. There are different ways in which people go about art, and there are different things people want out of art, and it's okay not to want to have that, but it's also okay to have it. Both of those things are okay. That's all. Would adventurer whose prey exclusion is children in a sense be over the line for these people? Maybe. PH says, my current mass game has a no racism line, but you all agree to explore the punching muggers into jail. We all agree to explore that punching muggers into jail isn't always the right option. So I expect that line to be more for outright hate. I should really ask, because the lines weren't clarified. You should probably get them clarified. And oh, Pat Benefar, hell is for children. Yeah, so you know what I mean? I just think we have to sort of recognize, basically all I want is for people to recognize that racism can be done in a really thoughtful and interesting way or a gross way. Utopia can be done in a really like thoughtful and interesting way or a gross way. Dystopia can be done in a thoughtful, interesting way or a gross way. That, like, if you have dogs being injured in a game, that doesn't make you a horrible human being. If you don't want to have dogs injured in your game, that doesn't make you a bad person either, right? Like, we can have different desires for our games, and I might want one thing with one group but not with another, right? Like I can do Krellin says a bunch of white guys probably shouldn't try to explore themes of racism with the one black person in the group. Just gonna put that out there. Krellin, I have been in that group. I was in an Old West game where I was the only black person in that group, and I made the mistake. I made the mistake of playing a black character, and I probably should not have. I should have known better. I should have known better. In that group, I should not have played a black character. That was an all-white group with people who had interesting ideas of historical accuracy, and I should not have played a black character. I should not have. The name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F or an M will appear. And then I say bow at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanta, and foe. And then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. But if the first two letters are ever the same, I drop them both and say the name. Like Bob, Bob drop the B's, Bo, Ob, or Fred, Fred drop the F's, Fo, Red, or Mary, Mary drop the M's, Mo, Airy. That's the only rule that is contrary. Be right, be right, be right, Bo, E right, banana, fana, fo, fee right, fee, fi, mo, me rights. Be right. If the one black person is the GM, that might be better. Hey, welcome back, Be Right. I'm glad you're back for another month. What did I miss? What did I miss? This is the one where everyone, like, yeah, they wouldn't let him. Well, he had a ranch, and people just kept trying to burn his ranch down and lynch him. So that was like super awkward. Yeah, like, so basically people were just kept trying to burn down his ranch and lynch him all the time. And it was just like nonstop racism against that character all the time. And my group with my experience with Bill's group were great. And you know, that was just super bad. That was not a great experience, is what I would say. With the SCP TTRPG that I'm making, I started rolling dice where the SCPs are going to be included, and some of them are just plain dumb. And I began to roll until I have at least 12 to 15 killer class anomalies, the most dangerous type to deal with. Then I need to develop classes roles. The kid would, oh, that's good. Yeah, no, it was super, super bad. Yeah, it was, thank you. It was really, really bad. And, like, it was awful. Like, I couldn't even function. Like, my character could not function because he was just, and nobody else's character was. And the thing is, it's one of the things that I have learned, that if I don't know the group very well, one of the things I had to learn, that if I don't know the group very well, I have to play a straight white guy character because I don't know. Now we have session zeros. So, like, it's better. But before we didn't have session zeros. And so I would just have to play straight white guys all the time. Otherwise, I didn't know if I would be safe. And I know a lot of women who also play straight white guys for their PCs because they don't know if it's safe for them to play women. And so, like, if you never know if the table's going to be safe if you play a character who's not a straight white guy, you end up just playing a lot of straight white guys just to be safe, so that you don't have your character like constantly either raped or tried to be lynched all the time. So like that's that was like a harsh reality for what it was like. And I have played a lot of straight white guy characters because I didn't know if the group I was with was going to be safe or not. And yeah. You know, like it's an interesting thing, and I will say I often also still, just to be case, just even with the session zero, if I don't know the people very well, I will still be a little careful about the characters that I make. But if I do know the characters and the players and I do trust them, then I can open up and play all sorts of things. And that's really exciting. Right? So, it's just these weird things. It's not even just about the players, but even the characters. Some characters aren't always safe. I mean, I know people who are straight white guys who don't play women anymore because they've been attacked. Like, their characters have been attacked, right? So the ways in which do you feel safe playing? And we have to do better. We have to do better. That thing you like says, I plan to implement a knowledge mechanic where depending on the role players have, their character will know particular things about different SCPs and how to contain them or their effects dispositions. That is very, very cool, that thing you like. I love it when different characters have different knowledges based on their backgrounds. I love that. I think that's great. And PH, I'm really sorry that has happened to you. Like, it is not cool. And I think that there are ways in which, even in a group that is all male and all white, some of sexist, racist bullying can still happen. And that's messed up. Do you know what I mean? That's messed up. PH said, remember, I played a woman early on and it did not go well. Now I do that rarely, right? And this, think about what that means, that you don't even feel safe playing a fictional character because people are gonna be crappy to you, right? And I think that this becomes a thing that we should, to be really careful about. Racism, speciesism, and slavery are almost required for Star Wars. The Jedi absolutely kidnap Force-sensitive children to induct them into what is effectively a cult. So true for Los Santo. But Star Wars feels safe, or at least safer, even for people with pretty strong feelings about those topics. I've always been interested in exploring the fact that I think the Jedi are a little bit sketch. Do you know what I mean? I think the Jedi are sketch. And I've always been interested in exploring that as a topic. Oh, yeah, there's a lot. Because, here's the thing. C-3PO and R2-D2 are clearly sentient and sapient, right? They clearly they're fully sentient, sapient AIs. And they are not treated well. Levi says, look, if Scientology can teach me to move stuff with my mind or midichlorians or whatever, I'd join. They're a bunch of cultists. And so I just think we should ponder about what we're doing and how we're treating other people. And the point is, you can explore these things, but you should never be using that as an excuse to bully the players. That's what I would say. Javi says, I can't enjoy Star Wars if the Jedi are seen as the true good guys. Because they're super sketch. And actually, I do appreciate, Jer says, the last couple of Star Wars movies have been exploring how sketch they are, and I appreciate that very much. That I appreciate. And Carl's like, the Jedi were wrong. Oh, they were wrong about a number of things. Rissa says, I've been very lucky with the groups I've gamed with. My first real group was half 30-year-old ex-submariners and half late teenage dudes, and that crap did not happen on the whole. I know my experience is atypical, and that makes me so sad, but I'm glad you had a good experience. That is important. That's important that we can have experiences where we're not felt. I want people to feel like they can play RPGs and be friendly with the people at the table. And I feel like that is not that hard of an ask. I feel like it's not that hard of an ask. Krellin says, note, I don't think George Lucas watched Star Wars. I feel like George Lucas might have watched a different Star Wars than the ones that we were watching. That thing you like says, because some SCPs have amnestic effects, I can make it so that tracking this knowledge value is affected. So a player comes in contact with an SCP that affects their memory, which I do have included, rolls will happen, and the effect will result in lower knowledge values, and they'll forget something involved with the current SCP, or random SCP, depending. Oh, that's interesting. Dealing with knowledge that way seems really interesting. Yeah. Definitely, says Levi, lots of people want to shield their bad behavior with the words they wrote on their character sheet. Not okay. And the thing is, I have Lucas is watching Gygax's version of Star Wars, and I think that there's a lot of really interesting things you can do, and I love gaming, even though I had some really bad experiences. I still love it because at its best, gaming can, one, allow you to tell amazing stories with other people. That's amazing. I love that. I love and that you can get stories that you would never expect, right? That you could have things that could happen that you didn't know what will happen. You can be presented with interesting choices. You can explore interesting characters. You can have stories you would never get any other way. Like, it's amazing. I love a good RPG. You can have these moments of profundity and catharsis and great art and amazing humor and victory and defeat. Like, the kinds of experiences you can have with an RPG are just, for me, incomparable to other media. And I love it. Love it. I love Knights of the Old Republic Pumpkin. I love it. And what we are in the end, what are we in the end but stories, a la Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. Yes. And we become richer people by exploring more stories, and I love that. That thing you like says, I'll only have knowledge pertaining to SCPs noted as a knowledge value. If an SCP makes a person forget about things of their past, that will affect the person on a personal level rather than on their knowledge value. That's interesting. For Lasanto says, I feel like George Lucas and the creators of the Star Wars RPGs, where most of the lore really comes from, incorporated those topics deliberately to point out how our ideas of right and wrong must be examined critically. Yeah, I think that the Star Wars RPGs have a lot of really good things in them. I will tell you one of my favorite things after I read these two points. Krellin says, I specifically made my tech priest character in my 40K game a genitor, which is a branch of tech priests who view organisms as machinery equally valid and in some way superior mechanisms, so they would get along better with a mostly not cybernetic group. Oh, see, Krellin, this is what I mean. You've got to try to work things out. No. We're gonna start Night in the Woods in 5 minutes. Hell, games like Shadowrun would be amazing to play with red teamers. They would likely have insane ideas. Oh yeah. So here's the one thing I want to say before we start in Night in the Woods. So here's what I want to say. There's a moment in Knights of the Old Republic 1. Knights of the Old Republic 1, where your character has to infiltrate a Sith Academy. And the Sith Academy, is on Korriban, right? And they have to go there, and you have to sort of like become this member of the Sith, so you could get access to the excavation, so you can get the thing. It's a whole thing. And so here's the thing, though. There's the head of the Sith Academy, whose name I can't remember. But the second in command is a Twi'lek woman named Uthura Ban. And of course, she, like Sith tend to do, she's planning to sort of double cross and overthrow her boss so that she can take over. And, I remember this moment where she's talking to you, the player character, and she's trying to get you on her side. And she says this thing that I always found so unbelievably profound. And it was one of the reasons why I was so glad that they had this sequence where you play as bad guys in the game, because it was really here's the thing. I haven't played KOTOR 1 since it came out, so we're talking almost 20 years now, and I still remember it. And what she said was that she had been a slave, right? She had been a slave, as Twi'lek or often are, a sex slave, and she was there with all these other sort of Twi'lek. And the Jedi never freed her and her people, because as you know, the Jedi don't tend to free slaves. So she was left there. And then the Sith came, and the Sith said, hey, I know you're angry, and I know you're in pain, and you can't do anything with this, but your anger can lead to power. And if you join the Sith, you can wield this great power. And she said that she joined the Sith because she wanted that great power. She wanted to learn how to become powerful, so that she could come back and free all of her Twi'lek compatriots. And then she said that as she gets more powerful, she thinks about them less and less. And it was just like, oh, right? Like, that was just like, oh, that was so rough. And I remember that moment, and for me, it was so heartbreaking, right? That she did all this because she ultimately wanted to be able to do something good. But with every step she takes, the original reason for her doing it just slips out of her fingers little by little. And I thought it was so powerful. And I was like really glad we had that sequence. I thought it was really good. And I think about, I think it would be different if she joined the Jedi. PH Paladin Hulk says the same thing would happen if she joined the Jedi. And I think it would be a little bit different because the Jedi would tell her to like knock it off from the get-go. They'd be like, you need to stop having feelings about your friends because they like this from the very get-go because they're both broken in their own way. Yes. Krellin says, peace is a lie, there's only passion. Through passion I gain strength. Through strength I gain power. Through power I gain victory. Through my victory my chains are broken. The Force will set you free. The Force will set you free. Yeah. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, you care about your friends, that leads to the dark side. And, like, they are both broken. And, like, there does need to be some kind of way to find a new thing. Because that, neither one of those sides work. So, we're going to play Night in the Woods, my friend. That's what we're going to do. We're going to play Night in the Woods. Because PH says, I'm looking forward to the next movie, Unify the Sides. Me too! I hope they do. I hope they do. Krellin says, Sith versus Jedi is a law versus chaos struggle, not a good versus evil struggle. Yes, but so often those things are equated. So often that is equated, and it's not the same. Like, law is not the same as good, and chaos is not the same as evil. Yep. I would love... Darth Caduceus in the older books are, and we had some great Jedi in the KOTOR games. The KOTOR games were so good, everyone. They were so good. I mean, they could have been better, of course, but they were really good. I liked a lot of the things that they did, and I will be happy about it. And I'm Jolie Bindo. Thank you, Krellin. Jolie Bindo. And Kreia herself was pretty gray and complicated and complex. Oh, Kreia. Jolie and Kreia. My faves. I dislike the Jedi for clinging to working towards balance. Well, many reasons, but that always sticks out. I hope the next movie will be good. Jolie, please don't take my man. Jolie, 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 Jolie. I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Oh, yeah. Everyone... Okay, Antarctica, since you're going to go shower, we're going to start playing Night in the Woods, because you're going to go and shower. We're going to play Night in the Woods. The last time we played, we saw someone kidnap someone, and we went and investigated to try to figure out, because we think it's a ghost, I don't think it's a ghost, who this person might be, and we discovered 3 different leads, and we're going to go with each one of our friends to each one of the different leads to figure out what's going on. At least I think we'll be able to get to all 3 of them. You were supposed to bring balance to the Force. I did. There used to be 1 Sith and like 10,000 Jedi. Now there are 2 Sith and 2 Jedi. Balance, you idiot. That is fair, Krellin. Oh, I want popcorn. Oh, for Lasanto. Kulan, go to sleep. Go to sleep. And Kulan, before you go to sleep, I want to tell you what's up. I'm playing on Saturday, DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn. Next Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock is the start of the Purloin Code season over on Little Red Dot's channel, little_red_dot. Yes. So we're going to be doing like a full season of the Purloin Code, Scum and Villainy. Ooh. The name game. Come on, everybody. Let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. and then a B or an F or an M will appear. And then I say bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fana, and fo. And then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can rhyme. Crit witch, bo bit witch, banana, fana, fo, fit witch, fee, fi, mo, mit witch. Crit twitch. Ooh, I wanted, sorry. Crit twitch, sorry. Crit twitch, bo, bit twitched, banana, fana, fo, fit twitch, fee, fi, mo, mit twitch. Crit twitch. So here's the thing. I wanted to tell you a thing. No, Brad. No. Thank you so much for that sub. Woods and bad decisions. Krea's tragedy, she had so much to teach, but was a failure as a teacher. None of her students ever learned her lessons. Oh, that is so fair. My relationship with Krea was so complicated. I'm having a little bit of... I do like that song. I like it. I like it a lot. That thing you like. So, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll be playing Scum and Villainy, the Purloin Code, over on the Little Red Dots channel. I'll be streaming on this coming Saturday for Horizon Zero Dawn. Next week, I'm probably not streaming on Thursday and Saturday, though, because I have a guest, and I'm taking care of them. So I probably cannot stream. But after that, I'm pretty good. I checked my September schedule, and I'm just going to miss those 2 streams next week, I think, and then 1 stream when I'm off at Connecticut College doing professor stuff. But then that's what I got. So I'm good. Maybe I can get some kind of guest stream. Oh my gosh. Pumpkin, I have so many feelings about the Jedi and KOTOR 1. So many feelings. I have so many feelings. So many feelings. Yes. Krellin says, I will never forgive LucasArts for making male PC the canon Revan. Like, they don't need to do that. That's the beauty of the game. That you could be either one. Atomica, I will try to catch your Saturday stream, but I'm starting my own schedule Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Ooh, nice, Atomica. That's exciting. Rissa, Obsidian tried to reverse it, you know. Atten assumes Ribbon is female if you didn't correct him. Oh, that's nice. I like the characters and people... Quick thing. People like to talk smack about KOTOR 2, and yes, it's rough that they had to, like, finish the game, like, 2 months earlier than they thought they had because LucasArts moved their deadline on them, but the characters are so good in KOTOR 2. But, Rissa. Airway and hey, the anime. Airway and hey, the anime. Iwayat gale out way up, way up, way it wakes to uteat gale young way. Airway and hey, the anime. The ice skates are ani say. Old man the 80 and pray who yare who through yeste unway young rayo. Iwe ever ne eat way at leans lay of way at brands lay ute day. And we see the Anlior will look like the I get right in the IA. We're in the money, we're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. Ooh, hey, drummer boy. Hey, how are you doing? Go to bed, PH. So, I know, I need to practice more. You know what I was thinking? This is like a weird... Goodbye, Kulan. Go to sleep. Sleep well. And I will see you maybe on Saturday. If not, then maybe also on Wednesday. I was just... Can I tell you something kind of weird? It's this weird thing that I've noticed about singing the name game. And I don't really know what it's about. But I don't know what to tell you. And it is this. When I'm snapping along to the name game, you know, when it goes, and then I say Bo at a B, then I'd say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. And so there's that first section. That first section, I always want to snap on the offbeats, right? So there's like a pretty heavy backbeat on the 2 and the 4, and I always want to snap on the and. It's like, I don't know why I want to do that, but I always want to end up snapping, and I always end up snapping like when I just come out of it. Like the first sort of natural thing for me is to like really just start snapping on the offbeats, and I've got to sort of consciously put myself back on those snare drums. But I don't know why that is. I always want to, like, if you pay attention to my snapping, you'll hear it. Like, I always just sort of like come right out on these really interesting offbeats. I don't know why, but I do it. I don't even know why I do it. The Jedi are super leadership and hoard knowledge. Also, Anakin wouldn't have gone evil if he wasn't taught that love was evil. And also, maybe if they had like gotten his mom out of slavery, but they just left her there. Whatever. I could have sworn that was Revan, and there was a distinct vibe that he was a fake. Oh, Krellin, I'm a complicated girl. Also, Vader is saved because Luke loves him. Also, Luke ditches his Jedi training to save his friends because he decides that he wants to have attachments. Hello, NRW. We're gonna. I'm just saying that. I'm just saying. I have just all the feelings right now. They just. I'm. And if that thing you like, it's actually true. What's really interesting about Luke is that he is more of a gray Jedi. He starts off in those white robes, but after he basically abandons the whole thing, ends up dressing in black as this way to sort of like, and he uses Force choke. So you can see him as sort of like mixing both of the Sharkle. Hi. You can see him like mixing both dark and light side powers. He dresses thematically in black, so it's not like he's only it's not like he hasn't turned to the dark side, but he's rejecting that sort of dark light dichotomy, which I think is really interesting. Hi. So I think that Luke is more of a gray Jedi, and that's the thing that he ends up mixing it up. It is bedtime. Yes. We're gonna bedtime this situation. May. Sharkle. And the Last Jedi explicitly has Yoda say, wait, you think old Jedi wisdom is worthwhile? Why save it? Let it burn. Yes. Yes, because... Uh-oh. Okay, everybody. We're in... a dream. Oh. I should practice one of those dreams so that May can just stop sucking so badly. Oh, hey, there's a fish. Is that bad? What is that fish doing here? Wait, there's a person floating over there. What is going on in this dream, everybody? I'm a little concerned. I'm a little concerned. I just want you to know it. They had to say they had to have Yoda say it because all the fans thought Yoda was super wise instead of Empire being Yoda. Well, first off, Yoda did get it wrong. I don't know how we drowned. And the thing is, Yoda. Everyone says that Yoda was super. Oh. Everyone says that Yoda is super wise, but he was clearly blinded, and I think that he had that same kind of Jedi arrogance that gets all of them. Maybe the kid after he was in a lake somewhere? Ooh, they had a lake. That's another fish. I don't think we can go any higher here. If they do have a lake, it's probably full of lead. I think that's true. Ooh! Ooh, look at that. I want to go here, but I'm afraid that's a bad idea. Yoda is blinded by the light. We are... Let's go this way. Oh, hey. I don't know if we made the right choice, everyone. I think we made poor choices, but also what is happening here. I think I've even come around on Super Furball Yoda because it's the moment that shows you Yoda is full of shite. I buy it. Yeah, jumping off of things is on brand. Okay. Well, I don't know about these fishes, everyone. Oh! Okay. Yoda preaches all of this peace and calm and stuff, but he's constantly confronted. But then he confronts his failed student Dooku, and suddenly he's a world of action and fury and lightsaber. I think we're doing really well, by the way, on this particular dream sequence. Oh, I like my fish cooked, and I really like salmon. I like a good salmon. What if... though I'm still not convinced Lucas knows this movie is presented... No, I don't think Lucas knows that at all. I think that Lucas... I'm kind of freaked out by this, everybody. I think that Lucas doesn't know that, and that's the thing that makes me just a tad disturbed. Y'all, we did really well. We got all of the... Ooh, a black bear reduction. Ooh. Well, that sounds good. The question I'm gonna get here is, how do we get back up? Here's the question. Because this is some Inception business right here. I feel like the Jedi are nuns and the Sith are what noobs think will happen if you let the devil in. I don't know if Lucas knows what he wants given all the add-ons or vision of his own work. Something I think is fascinating. Everyone's like, oh, what the author says? Because everyone's like super into the author. For a really long time, they're like, whatever the author says, that's what it means. That's what the author says. But then Lucas is like, I'm going to change it so that Han shoots second. People are like, nope, no more what the author says. Nope, no more than that. And I think that is really fascinating. So, y'all, you know what we need? Oh, fish is really disturbing me. I need to find... I feel like there was some interesting politics in that first trilogy, but we didn't really get to see them. Here's the thing that I need right now. I need to figure out where those, we need to figure out where the, this is creeping me out! Where those pipes are. Yeah, the inventor of GIF pronounced it GIF, so yeah, Levi, I'm with you. Oh, here we go. This is us. Oh, what's that? Bird eating fish. I submit the fact that we have Never Gonna Give You Up as the Rickroll song instead of Blinded by the Light as proof that there is a God and that God is merciful. What are we doing with our dreams, everyone? Don't you feel weirded out by all this? I mean, let's find out what our friends have to say. Wait, let's have Sharkle help us out. Hey, Sharkle. Hi. That's all. I like the original Jedi Code: emotion yet peace, ignorance yet knowledge, passion yet serenity, chaos yet harmony, death yet the Force. The code actually is balance. Sharkle is best. Last night inspired me. For longest night, I'm getting you a library card. You're welcome. Oh. Thanks, B. Dude, my mouth tastes weird this morning. Like a tire. I'll be at work trying to wash it out with whatever's in the cooler. Oh, Greg. Did I mention that the production of Romeo and Juliet I saw last night, they had Juliet performing Copacabana? Oh. 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 Unlike the Crub Code, which is there is no X, there is Y, instead of yet. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. Thank you, that thing. Away message. Planets are to be pitied as they cannot know how big and cool they are. Dr. Kathy Conklin, National Astronomy Agency. Away message? Why is he... Hey, did you notice that was an away message? What do you think that's about? The Jedi are Sith too. So something I think is really interesting is in KOTOR, we need Pumpkin says, we need to talk Star Wars when I'm not driving. That's fair. So in KOTOR 2, there's this whole discussion of, you know, the Jedi and the Sith fighting each other, and I believe the park, and I believe the people are just call it the Jedi Civil War, and at one point in time the character's like, but it's not a civil war, it's Jedi versus Sith, and so he's like, yeah, the civilians don't really see the differences between you all that deeply, and I was like, Hey Bird, sorry I'm always rude to you. Yes, I want all of this. Hey, we can, oh hey, I'm gonna stand up on all the things. Oh, May. So I am all here for all the Star Wars conversations in the Discord all the time. All of the time. Oh, hey, you know what I wonder? I have a thought. 1, 2, 3. No, I can't climb on that. But Granddad was a member of this organization. We're leaving. Jedi, we're fighting the Sith civilian. What's a Sith? Jedi, evil Force losers. Civilian, so evil Jedi? We're gonna meet our friends. I wonder if I can see all of them, or if I can't see all of them. Can I see my mom? Hey, Mom. We're gonna talk, because Mom tells me things. That's a branding problem. Drummer Boy, I read a thing that Lucas originally intended the first 6 movies to be Anakin Vader's story as the main character. Anakin was the chosen one meant to bring balance, and eventually did by throwing the Emperor down the shaft. Luke was a sort of a side character, but it didn't come across that way. Yeah. You know, it's interesting is that I think, even though I'm not the hugest fans of episodes 1 through 3 for writing reasons, and also special effects reasons, and some acting reasons, I think that, and pacing reasons, but I think the way that it changes the perspective on Luke's part of the story, I think is good. Okay, yeah, Levi, there are a lot of reasons why I'm not a big fan of the first 3 movies, but I do think there's something really good about the ways in which it reframes it not to be solely about Luke, and I like that a lot. That thing you like, give me some fun facts. I'm happy for it. I want good Sith. No reason good Sith can't exist as far as my limited understanding goes. Yeah, there could be some really good Sith who are like, hey, the Jedi Council doesn't want us to go and help the outer planets with the Mandalorian invasion. We're going to help them. Like, I think it could be there. Morning, sunshine. You feeling okay? You look a little limp. Yeah, weird dreams. Weird night. You say weird a lot. Just being honest. You taking headache meds? They're in the bathroom cabinet. Yeah, I am. They're kind of working. Kind of not. Well, maybe you need more sleep. I mean, more than 10 hours or so you already get. You've always been my sleepy girl. May has got depression. May has got depression. 10 hours, May's got depression, I think. I still find it weird that Natalie Portman was the little girl in Professional. Me too. She was very good in it, though. I would love a KOTOR movie, although it probably wouldn't be as good as Game. Missed RPG games have roughly 30,000 lines of dialogue. This is roughly 300,000. Oh, most RPG games. That's amazing. This game also has 160 unique characters. Oh, so interesting. Yeah. May needs a therapist, and we get a game where we make bad choices. Oof. What did you do last night? Went to the library with B. Oh, that sounds nice. It was. Weird. Interesting. Okay, gotta go. Be safe, hon. Take it easy. You really do look a little tired. Getting out makes me feel better. Me too. Maybe it's a good day to get out in the fresh air. I'll let you know. Bye, sweetie. I think that May has got depression, is what I think. KOTOR movie would be ruined by the fact that they cast a man as the lead. Yeah. I love how the CGI cost like a ton more just because Liam Neeson was tall. Oh, I think for me, one of the problems with translating... So people always say there are never any good... What am I doing? What is this? I just opened up a new space, everybody, that I've never been before. We've never been here before, everybody. So I think that for me, one of the big issues is people always say that there are no good video game movies, which I actually dispute because I really liked Silent Hill 1. And I think the first Tomb Raider was also very good. And there are others. But the point is that I think that the point being that people think that somehow movies are a better medium than video games. And I think one of the reasons why it's hard to translate big RPGs like KOTOR or Mass Effect or Dragon Age or these things into movies is because these video games give you 40 to 100 hours worth of content and a movie's 2 hours. And I think it'll be just really hard to sort of distill what made those things really good into 2 hours. That's all I'm saying. Where is this? I don't know where this is. It's hard to listen to what they're talking about when all you could see is a digital backdrop that looks worse than High School Musical. I really like that first Silent Hill movie. Yeah, actually, Drummer Boy, I think you're right. Yeah, KOTOR's already a movie, just cut out the side quests. Yeah. I didn't click anything weird, I just walked. You know how when you get out of your house and you start walking to the right and there are those construction workers that stop you from moving? They weren't there and I just kept going and here I am. I've never been here before. Farming. I could farm. If I stay in town long enough, I could see getting into the farm life. The problem with farms is the amount of poop. Like, even if you don't have animals, you actually buy poop or something and shovel it all over the place. It's madness. It's poop madness. Yeah, so like when we go the other direction, it's so true. Oh, you can see my cursor. Why can you see my cursor? That's weird. Yeah, I have never been here before, everyone. I'm gonna make everyone mad. I think Super Mario Brothers would have been a fun movie if it wasn't Super Mario Brothers. You're not making me mad. Oh. Hey, I'm sitting on a bridge. Train bridge. Bridge freezes before the road. Welcome to historic historic Possum Springs, original county seat of Deep Hollow County. You're not lost, you're here. Oh. I know it is wallpaper worthy. After this, a few miles and you go under the highway, and it's just rolling fields and farms. I miss the corn mazes this fall, and the haunted barn in Brittle. Always next year, for campfires and corn dogs. So apparently this is about Western Pennsylvania. Weird that town ends like, bam, right here. There's like a line somewhere that no one can see, but you can put it on a map. You're not lost, you're here. You can do walking on the Endar Spire, crashing on Taurus, rescuing Basila, going to Dantooine, quick training montage, and then montage for the holocrons and on to the reveal, then the ending. I think you do that in 2 to 3 hours. True, but I think it would probably be better as a mini-series. I'm sort of interested to see how the Witcher Netflix show is going to be for that reason. A Witcher movie would suck real bad because there's no way to make people care in 2 hours. To me, we're 80 hours to really care about Geralt and his BS. Yeah, Western Pennsylvania is apparently what it's all about. I didn't go up the top this time because I always go up the top. No, not Alec Holoka. He's not. It's the other two, Bethany and Scott. Both of them are from... Oh, he's two. Hey, Selmers. Hey, Selmers, you were great last night. Thanks. Having you to bounce ideas off helped. I'm good for that. Want to hear a new poem? Sure. This is a short one, because I'm tired. Me too, so that works out. I got mad one time. It was online. I've been mad on the internet before too. It's crazy making. It must be Altoona. Yeah, well, I got sidetracked by leaving my friend's house earlier, Trooper. I'm gonna do a different theme for the 3 days I'm gonna stream. Ooh! Say more, Atomica. What were you doing at the library? I go to the library. No, but seriously. I want to know more. The Witcher series will be based on the books, not the game, anyway. Oh. Yeah, so Alec has been credibly accused of sexual assault. And there was like a big, large discussion about this. And we discussed it a little bit in Discord. And the two others, Scott and Bethany, didn't know about it. Yeah, that thing, he was credibly accused of sexual assault in a pretty brutal way. In that way that's just kind of gross and terrible and awful. And Bethany and Scott, who are the writers, the co-writers of the game, they cut ties with him and they cut him totally out. So we are still going to play the game because he did not write it. And I don't think it's fair to punish the rest of the people who made this game and who were so instrumental to it. I play a mean banjo, Clawhammer. I also play a banjo, but I do not play Clawhammer, although I should learn it. Is that the source of all the internet talk about dark music out of the gaming industry? Well, actually, Rissa, it wasn't just him. A number of people came forward in the last 2 days to talk about harassment, sexual assault, and rape in the industry. Mostly about how large and influential industry people will take younger people, force them into relationships, sexually assault them, harass them, abuse them, and then make it so that they can't say anything because these predators are really big and important people and no one will believe people who are brand new into the industry over these really big important people. Yeah. So it's this last few days it's been the composer for the Elder Scrolls games, this guy, a couple other people have all been. And the thing with Holoka, which is And this is one of those things, people invite you to stay at their place when you don't have enough money to leave. And they're like, don't worry, I'll buy you a ticket to leave after just 2 weeks. And then they don't buy that ticket, and then you can't leave. And then you're stuck in their house. And I've heard that story before, and it's like, no good. Yeah. Atomica, Friday in real life arts, painting D&D minis. Saturday games with stories, starting with Night in the Woods, because I want to play it myself. Very nice, Atomica. Sunday platform games. Oh, that's really good. Yeah, Levite. And the thing is, that particular kind of strategy of picking somebody who doesn't have enough money, nobody will believe them, needs their job, etc. And then because you have economic power over them, you can do terrible things. And that is not an uncommon story. Yeah, if you're going to do a split the ticket deal, the non-creep buys the ticket out, someone can leave on her terms. Yes. Abusing power dynamics, that's the thing, and it happens all the time. People in power abusing people who don't have power, and that's why you shouldn't date people you work with, because there are power dynamics there. And that's why you should not be hitting on your waitress, because there are power dynamics there. Yeah. So yeah. And yeah. I actually almost ran into a similar but nowhere as vicious situation. Yeah, and it happens a lot. I've just heard a little bit of a rumor that maybe, it's unclear to me, like I don't have the details, so there have been, I think, some allegations against Katy Perry being handsy with dancers. But what if you tip well, I see you. The Elder Scrolls composer made me really mad. They go the way of Wagner for me. Also, a friend framed it really well, saying, don't be mad about losing an influence, be mad about all the people who left the industry over their abuse. You'll never see the creation of those people who left. Yeah, that's right. Also, Wagner, I mean, the thing about Wagner is that Wagner's like, I write my anti-Semitism into my music. Here's how I do it. And you're like, wow, okay, Wagner. Like, Wagner is not shy about telling you that this is actually part of his musical ideology. So I was like, I don't know what to tell you. It's like all in there. So gross. Really? I play bass. We should play together sometime. You know Long Black Veil? Yep. You know Tom Dooley? Yep, my dad likes that stuff. You know Willer Garden? Nope. Oh, come on, we almost had a bonding moment. Whatever. So we are just seeing if we can get a little bit of, we're gonna go back and go on the power lines. But Wagner is so messed up, man. The person watching my cat while I'm car bound was starting to make aggressive passes. Ooh, no good. And I had to risk shooting her down. Luckily, she didn't get mad, but I could have lost Chance's safety if she wasn't a good person. Right. That is not a good situation to be in, where you feel like you can't say no. And like, that is bad, right? When you're like, oh, what will happen? Right? It's not good. That is not good. Is not good. We're gonna go back. And we're gonna go on the power lines. As long as Williams turns out as kind as he seems, then I'm still good, but geez. Why are powerful men so gross? Because patriarchy rewards gross men with power. Yeah, that's true. And then also, sadly, because we live in a place that equates the abuse of power with power and success, then there are also women who internalize those things, and they think that the only way for them to be successful is by also abusing power. There are fewer women with power, so it happens less often, but there are also women with power who abuse their power and harm people. And that is bad. I mean, and we have to watch out for it and make sure that we believe people. And it's hard, you know? And I think it's also rough because people are really discouraged from saying anything. Hey, little girl. I'm a legal adult. Oh, sorry. Who are you? Liz, I used to live here. Where? This building right here before you were born. Why did you move away? I went to school, wandered off, I guess. Do you like it better where you live now? It's nice. Possum Springs is nice too. I think it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, pretty all right. When I was a girl, about your, I'm 20, height, I used to lay awake at night, worried that statue would come to life and climb in my window. Oh geez, that's spooky. You never want someone hanging around outside your window. Not magical evil statues, at least. Yeah, nothing evil or magic should get that close. I live in the attic. No one can get to my room, to my window. That's good. Not even vampires, or warlocks, or skeleton men. I'm glad we had this talk. Me too. See ya. Who is this person? You just scared my mom, and I'm really sorry about that, I'm really sorry about that, Jer, because that's awful. Like, it's not good. A small silver lining is the amount of bad faith folks I've been able to block on Twitter over their reactions and comments to victims. I don't need any future interactions with people like that. And yes, when I was about your height. What if this girl's ever steal undies? Probably not. What do you... I do, yeah. I just think it's really important. I think it's really important not to internalize toxicity, because everyone can internalize toxicity, and it is bad. Squirrels might steal undies for nesting. They might. I feel like using terms like patriarchy and the negative connotations it has shouldn't be around. Like adding gender to being a shitty, corrupt corporate person isn't going to help identify the problem or provide productive arguments. Well, I think the problem is that it's actually based on the idea. I mean, the thing is that it's a gendered system. I think that becomes nothing new there. And it's a gender, and the gendered system is bad for everybody. But, and how it manifests is different for both men and women in ways that aren't great. For anybody. But the system isn't neutral. That's the thing. It's not just corrupt corporate people. It's telling people certain stories, right? About things like boys shouldn't cry and girls shouldn't do math, right? There are all of these things that sort of tie into this over time, and that, you know, boys should be angry. That scene is very good. It reminds me of my roommate's cat pawing on the door to go a stray sock. I think the thing you like, that we cannot, because it is a gendered system, pretending like gender is not there doesn't help stop it, right? So we have to name the ways in which gender is being used to harm people and recognize it so that we can stop it. It's sort of like saying, that, you know, class, like naming class is the problem, so let's just not name class. And like, oh, but if we don't name class, who profits if we don't name class as a system? Super rich people who are abusing poor people, right? So like we have to name the system so that we can combat it, and we can sort of think about the ways in which that system is harmful to everybody, right? in gendered ways, right? And also the ways in which the class system is harmful to people in classed ways, right? So we want to sort of see those power dynamics so that we can combat it, so we can find out the ways in which, right, it is harmful to like a lot of people in different ways, right? Because it's harmful to people. It's not harmful to men and women the same way. Not naming classes how you get to Stalinism. Or actually also in the US, where like we don't have class in the US. And you're like, oh, we do have class in the US, right? So like all the ways in which not naming how these things work out on these lines doesn't help us combat those problems. Stepping away to get ready to go fight back against the pandemic. Back to you. Fight against the pandemic. Methinks I spy a tunnel shark. Removing a difficult term like gender or class because it is difficult often benefits the ones in power, where the other group is they can sweep it under the rug. Yeah, I was thinking about, why was I thinking about this? Why was I thinking about this just the other day? Yeah. Tunnel sharks are the best. Scary monster in the dark. Also, people not calling out racism only really empowers racists to continue their BS and no one else will speak about it. Being silent would be nice if it worked, but it doesn't. Yeah. I was thinking about this because I was thinking about regionalism, right? Sort of classism, racism, ableism, sexism, all these things, the ways in which being able to name them allows you to see it. And it was funny because, you know, and I think I like to think about the ways in which I've been ignorant about things, right? Because everybody's ignorant about something, right? All of us are ignorant about something because we're not every person. And I was just I've been doing a lot of listening to people who are physically disabled and or mentally disabled, just listening to what they have to say. And I started thinking about accessibility and the ways in which things are or not accessible, because we can be like, oh, but like we're all the same, we're all the same. And I was walking across the street and it was one of these it was like a pedestrian crosswalk that wasn't at the corner but was in the middle of the street, and there was a light, but there was no dip, so that if you were on a wheelchair it was going to be difficult for you, or if you had mobility issues, crossing this street was going to be hard for you, and it was a pedestrian crossing. And like, because I've been reading so much about sort of disability issues, I saw it. And if you'd asked me 5 years ago, well, maybe more than 5 years ago, but if you'd asked me a couple of years ago, I probably wouldn't have noticed that sidewalk was not actually accessible to people. And the same with, there are a bunch of things that once you start seeing it, you're like, oh, actually, we think we're like, oh, we're here for everybody, but actually, oh, this is not actually helpful to a whole bunch of people, you know? The difference between you have to sleep with me to keep your job and you have to come to work even if you're sick if you want to keep your job is that it's about sex, yeah. And that's a huge difference. But ignoring the taboo nature of demanding sex, they're the same concept. It's just a matter of degree of abuse. The point is, it does show that rich people are abusing poor people is utterly ingrained to every aspect of our culture. Yay technology, phone reset itself. Oh, iPhone 7. Ooh, I'm still on my iPhone 6. Hey, Barator. Yeah, I grew up in the DAV. I notice that stuff all the time, right? And I think this is like, and that's the thing, is that everybody notices things differently, right? Like, and we have to learn to see those things we never had to see. Do you know what I mean? And I think that that's the powerful thing, to be able to see the things that you don't have to see because you have privilege, right? Like, I have neurotypical and I have basically physical ability privilege. And so there are things that I haven't had to see because I didn't have to. But that doesn't mean that those things aren't there just because I didn't have to see them. And I thank people so much for helping me see those things. And seeing those things make, you know, like they make you confront things, they make you think about things, and some of those things are difficult. But I'm glad that I see those things. You know, it's like Amazing Grace, right? House with the Sound. that saved a wretch like me. I once was blind, but now I'm found. I was lost, but now I see. I was once lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. And I think the thing about privilege is that it blinds you to things that other people have to deal with. And all of us, right, are blinded to certain things, and we can all learn to see things. That thing says, I reckon the problem is that currently society is going through a huge shift in political correctness and open-mindedness and mind-mindedness, where current generations are pushing for progressive thinking and acts, but the previous generations are in the tail end of more oppressive and toxic behaviors. So there's a dichotomy of the previous generation, and people align with them clash with the current generation of people. I think that's really true, that thing you like. I think that's really true. And Barentor also notes that different places change culture at different rates. Yep. And Gervais says seeing these issues sucks, but not seeing them as worse. Yes. And I think, and that's all really true. And I think that, and the thing is, to be somewhat understanding or kind, it doesn't feel good to realize that you've been benefiting from things you didn't see. Because, like, nobody likes to think of themselves, okay, I just said, I said that and I don't actually think that's true. There are some people who like to think of themselves as bad guys. There are some people who are like, I'm a bad guy, and they relish in it. But many people don't like to think of themselves as harming other people. And they equate, let me put it this way, I didn't see certain things having to deal with accessibility because I didn't have to see them. And then I realized it, and then I saw them. Me not seeing them in the past didn't make me a bad guy. People often think, oh, I didn't see that, so therefore I must be a bad guy, and I'm not a bad guy, so therefore it's not a problem. They get all in this space, right, where they assume that because they didn't see it, that somehow that must make them bad, and so therefore, since they're not bad, it can't have been a problem. They'd rather think it's not a problem than I think they're a bad person. Here's the thing, you not seeing it doesn't make you a bad person. Like, you just didn't see it, and now you see it. Now the question is what you're going to do with it, right? And I just think that people have a really hard time recognizing that maybe they might have hurt someone inadvertently or not seen something and contributed to somebody else's pain. They just don't want to, they would rather not see it and say it's not real than confront the fact that maybe they might have messed up a little bit. And like, it's really good to be able to learn to be like, oh man, I didn't see that and I'm sorry. Oh man, I messed up and hey, I'm sorry, I'm going to do better next time. And like, we all have to sort of be kind and allow people to apologize and get better next time, and be kind to ourselves and knows that maybe that we all mess up a little bit, and that we all can learn and get better, and that's the way to move forward, you know? I'm not saying that says that thing, that all the previous generation is toxic and whatever, but they feel the majority of what influences current generation in displaying these toxic behaviors and vice versa with progressive, like, no, that's true. Like, not everybody, because there's always people in the past who are doing something different. But it's true, if you look at statistics, the statistics are there. At least the game is running, it sort of counts. Hello, Aris, how are you? It's so good to have you here. As a cis hetero appearing white guy, I like how you said appearing. Realizing how bad it is for some was kind of harsh, but I'm glad I learned to notice stuff, and I wouldn't want to go back. And being ace, I guess I technically stick out even though it is easier to hide, for me at least. Yeah, and like, being ace, once you see it, right? Some people just do refuse to learn or change, and that's always hard. And I was thinking about aceness, right? I had a friend of mine years and years ago, before ace identity was really a thing that a lot of people knew about, and he's what I would describe as ace. I'll have to talk to him about that. But I remember him years and years ago. He is my age, he's still a virgin, and he has just not wanted to have sex with anybody. And I remember years ago, 15 more years ago, he was like talking about this with me because he felt like he could talk to me about those things, and I was like, you can talk about these things. And he was talking about how hard it was for him, he didn't have the language ace yet, about how hard it was for him to be single and a virgin in his 40s. Oh, he wasn't in his 40s at the time, because everybody pressured him. Like, everybody's like, why are you not seeing somebody? Why are you not dating? Are you bringing somebody to the dance? Are you bringing, like, just constant, basically harassment, telling him that he needed to be seeing someone. and he did not want to be seeing anybody, and the ways in which employers looked at him a little bit suspiciously, and society looked at him a little bit suspiciously for being single and that old and all of this and all of that. Like there was something broken with him. There was nothing broken with him at all. But if you don't see it, you can't see like how intensely our society pushes coupledom, right? And makes stigmatizes people who are not in couples, right? And like that's a real thing, and like you may not see it, but then once you see it, then you see it everywhere. Atomica says, I had a coworker complaining about participation trophies, and then he got mad when I pointed out it was his generation asking for them, not the 5-year-olds receiving them, and that is true, Atomica. Barantor says there are vast swaths of the populace that don't come in contact regularly with more diverse populations and are ignorant and are comfortable with their ignorance of different groups than they are. This is true. You're too picky. Beggars can be choosers. Oh yeah, Jer, like all those things. Relationships, dating, Society still assumes single middle-aged men are closeted gay or predators, and often gay men are pedophiles. Yeah, so that's stigma, right? Your friend and I deal with. Totally, Krellin. That is completely right, and that's like and that's a real stigma that also impacts people's wages, their employment, and then because our society, and this is messed up, kind of has set up old age care. How do you deal with old age and like being taken care of in your old age? You have children, and your children are supposed to take care of you. So if you don't have children, then all of a sudden, how are you gonna, like, what are you gonna do when you turn 90, right? Like, our whole system is set up for coupledom and child rearing, and if you're not part of that system, you are not only stigmatized, but there are like real material negative consequences for that. And sure, being ace or single, these things are not the same as some other things, but they're still things, and once you see it, then you can see how it propagates, and I think it's important to see it, because then you can have empathy for other people, you know? Also, if you don't understand sex or the point of sex, society can be real weird. That's true, like a lot of media is sort of framed around that. I had a comment about this. That thing you like says, speaking of previous generations influencing current generations negatively, my dad, he's pretty racist, and until a few years ago I aligned with his way of thinking because he's my dad. I've never overtly been racist, but I've had racist thoughts as a result. Of course you would. Yeah, of course you would. Recently I've noticed that, and I no longer align myself with that, and I do call it my dad when he is discriminatory against other races and ethnicities. That's really hard to do, that thing you like. That is takes a lot of strength of character to be able to undo that. That's hard. And single men don't have families, so of course we're always available to cover for our co-workers and work late and dedicate ourselves to the jobs before all. Oh yes, Krellin, you're speaking my language. I don't want kids, I'm after Atomica, right? If you don't want kids, there's something wrong with you. There are all these ways in which we do this. And if we don't do that, we're not team players, right? But if you do have kids and you are in a relationship, then you get to not work all the times that, yeah, totally. That thing you like, it's been a few good years that I've had those kinds of thoughts and believed it, I'm happy to say, but I don't like that it took so long for me to realize that. You know what though, that thing you like, you shouldn't beat yourself up so much, because some people never get out of it, and it's really hard for you to get out of that, and that's what you've grown up with your entire life. It takes a lot of work to undo ways of thinking that you have been indoctrinated with, and many people never do, or it takes them forever and ages. And so I think that there's something commendable about being able to learn and grow that way. I think, at least. I live with a female friend from college, and we go most places together because we also work at the same company. We're family, but not partners. People usually assume we're other sisters or a couple. And that's also really frustrating, because you can have family in different kinds of ways, and you can have partnerships with people that are not romantic partnerships. The downfall to my current situation was spending 3 years caretaking for my dad till he died. I won't have that when my time came. I know. And I think about single women get the same stuff about devoting ourselves to the job after a certain. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, that's right. It's really, and I think that, so I'm really glad that people are talking about the ace spectrum now, because it's a real thing, or even just singledom. Those things are real things that people have to deal with, and there are real consequences. And I think that's the part of opening up your eyes, right? To think about the ways in which our society structurally is centered around coupledom and child rearing. So much so that people are like, oh, family values, family, family, family. But they mean that in a very specific way that means that people like, I mean, a lot of people get sort of really screwed over by a system where economically we are set up to have your children take care of you. So you have to have children. Like there's a lot of things, that disadvantage folks in many different ways. And like, it's good to finally be able to talk about that and realize it so we can be like, oh, hey, our system, like we have a come on down south if you truly want to witness that, says Crit Twitch. Yeah. And like my school has, like, we talk about the work-life balance, but all the work-life balance stuff is for like married people with kids. I was like, what about my work-life balance? Whatever. Yeah, right. And so I think that having that kind of, like, for me, that it's about the empathy, so we can learn more to see more humanity in other people and realize like rural versus urban and regions and ability and coupledom or not coupledom, religion, like all those things. Crit Twitch wants someone to take care of me though, especially older I get as a single person. Yeah. Ooh. Family values, those are the politicians who get outed in the media for awful scandals, usually involving steps. Yep, always, always, always. They're always doing something weird because they're crazy hypocrites. Yes. Atomica says, yeah, with the whole language to describe yourself thing, I drive my friends nuts with mine because it's counterintuitive, but it makes sense for me. And that's what's important. Do you find ways to describe your... Because that's the thing about labels. Labels aren't bad if they're your own labels. If you find a way to describe yourself that makes you able to express yourself to the world and have people understand you, that's what's valuable. People putting labels on you is not so great, but you being able to find a label that works for you, whatever that label might be, that's good. That Thing You Like says, I dread the time when I'm going to have to look after my parents. I've worked in nursing homes, and I've recently lost my granddad, who my mom and uncle had to look after, and recently I've been so fucking scared to lose my parents. Oh, I get that. I lost both of my parents, and like, man, I don't know. What happens if I get sick? Society constantly sends, says Crowlin, constantly sends the message, if you don't have children, you are worthless. That is true, which is actually a factor in why conservatives oppose gay adoption, because they don't want to give homosexuals the value of parents. And the same thing with marriage. That's exactly right, Crowlin. Yeah, and and it's funny because I was thinking about, right, like what happens, like, okay, so like, side note, right? Sometimes you have to get surgery for things, and what happens, and for like surgery, they need someone has to take care of you and pick you up from the hospital, else they won't release you. And what if you don't have someone to pick you up from the hospital? What happens then? What do you do? Right? So like, think about like all these ways in which those things become serious. Atomica says, I find comfort in pansexually aromantic. I'll sleep with anyone, but I don't care about sex. I care about relationships and friendships far more. And I think that those things are like, I think it's important to be able to find ways so that you can say, hey, this is where I'm at, and then also know that maybe those labels might change over time. But being able to say, and the thing is, we all have labels that mean something to us. You might say, like, I'm a Southerner, or like, I'm a first generation college student, or like, I'm an older sibling, or I'm a middle child, or I'm Puerto Rican, or like all these different, or I'm a gamer, or I'm a nerd, or I am an actor. Some people like, there are all these different terms that people use to make themselves legible to others, and it's not bad as long as we get to find the terms that work for us and we don't get imposed them by others, really, or mistreated because of them. That's the thing. Javai says, having a short label instead of having a 10-minute presentation every time makes my life way easier. The people fitting the assumed norm don't have to. Why should I explain my idea constantly? A label should be more than enough. Yes, Javai. Atomica. Like when I attach to someone as a friend, cheers all you, Artie, Asti, it means the world to me and more, and all my serious relationships were deep friendships, not people I had a sexual attraction to. And like, that's also super valid and cool, and there's nothing wrong with that, and we shouldn't make people feel bad or structurally oppress them because of those things, right? And I think that's the thing. It's not just about being mean to people. It's also about structural disadvantages. And we have a lot of structural disadvantages sort of tied into various categories. And pretending like the categories are not there does not stop that structural disadvantage. That thing you like says. I feel like I'm similar to that. I've not had sex and I don't really care about it, but the idea of being able to cuddle with someone and just enjoy someone's company sounds so desirable to me. Right, and no one should have to feel weird. Thank you, Jabai. Should feel that way either. Volpa says, as a 49-year-old single man who lived alone for years to the last few months, the idea of what will happen if I get sick scares the hell out of me. Being self-employed just made it worse. Oh, Volpus, I totally get that. I mean, I'm going to tell you something. This is going to be a weird thing to say, but you all are really valuable to me in a couple of ways. And like Krellin is important to me. You regulars are important to me in two different ways. In the summer, I may not see people in real life for weeks and weeks at a time because it's the summer, right? I live alone on campus. There's usually nobody in my building. I'm not working in an office, so I'm just working here in my place, writing, maybe at a cafe, but I'm just here. So it's like 3 months where I may not see other people in person. And before I was streaming, that was certainly the case. That like I would call I have friends that I call and that I message and whatnot, but they don't live in the state. And I have developed, right, some things, so that's good. But this streaming has been really important because I feel like, is there only one scholar in residence? There are 4, but we're in different buildings, and we may not interact with each other. And the thing is, right, like Boba says, I understand I have more contact with you guys and talk to you more than most of my real life contacts. And the thing is, I was always like, what happened if I died? Like, what happens if I died? I had a heart attack and I died in the summer. Like, nobody would know I'm dead for maybe a month. Like, Rissa would know when I didn't show up for the Call of Cthulhu game. Would be like, she would notice, but that might be a whole month because our game is only once a month. And I might have my buddy who's in California, but like Rissa lives in California. I live in Massachusetts. It might I could easily be dead for a month before anybody knew. And then I started streaming regularly. And now I know that if anything happens to me and I just like went off the radar, you would know. And yeah, and this is the thing that I know that I feel better knowing that if something happened to me because I stream regularly, you would notice. And just don't die on Monday, we won't know till Wednesday. And it's the same thing. I feel the same way that like there's some of you all here in the chat that I've never met in person, but I know you in chat. And like if Volpez or Krellin or PH or some of you regulars just didn't show up, I would be a little bit worried, and I'd be like, I hope they're okay. And so there's something about this particular community, even though it's not in person, that's really meaningful to me, and it makes me feel a little bit safer, if that makes any sense at all. Atomica says, it's weird, but I'll try to explain this fun thing. I'm in driving distance of Trooper. I could go grab lunch with him this weekend. I could spend my entire friendship with him online, and it would mean exactly as much to me with or without a real life interaction. Yeah. And no, and Jared, that is hilarious, by the way. And so like, there's something about this online community that for me has made me feel better, right? As like a single person in my 40s, I feel much better having you all in my life and knowing that we have our regular meetups, and not just because I know that like if something happened to me that you would be there, but also because I know that I can be like, I can look out for you all as well. So I'm happy. Like I think that this Twitch. People talk about the internet, right? They talk about the internet and they're like, oh, the internet. But I think that streaming has done something really good. Drummer Boy says this is real community. We can look out for folks if something seems off, even recognize if something is off is something. And that's true. Oh, I spunny. Like I feel like we have this community and we look out for each other, and if somebody's missing a little bit, we'll note it, and I feel good about that. That makes me feel better. Most of my friends have been on the internet since at least 1994, and anyone says the internet friends aren't real are wrong. That is true. They're just wrong. They are real friends. And I can say this especially as a person who has moved a lot. I mean, when I joined the Army, I moved, and I have friends that I only interact with through texting or phones or online because we live in different states, and they're still my friends, of course. So I think that there's something really positive about being able to make contacts in these different ways, especially because, you know, not everybody walks the same sort of expected life path that 1950s sitcoms tell you, which I don't even think is really a doable life path in our current economy anyway. We totally are. And you folks, Ice Bunny says, you folks make me not go crazy with the exams. And Atomic says, also, I'm actually a lot more open with people online as well. Atomic is more me than my real life persona, and I totally get that too. Nope, because he didn't stream on Wednesday. Ever have that thing where you meet an internet friend in person and their name hits your ears funny, so you use their superhero names? Totally. Oh my gosh. Oh. No, I didn't see this time, Marissa. But we're gonna head over there. The crap with being a stay-at-home mom with 4 kids. Yeah. My RPG group refers to me as Krellin, even though we're in voice communication every week. I'm not even sure most of them know my real name. Then again, my internet self is Krellin. It's so funny. People sometimes ask me, "Should I call you Trooper?" when they meet me in person, and I was like, "Well, that's a weird question." Yes, or like whatever, but like that, I am also Trooper. Like that is also who I am. That is also me. I honestly only keep up with a handful of folks I met in the military. Right. I have to go save the world with Ingar. I'll say 10 minutes. That's fair. So Shark to Tunnel Shark. Holy crap! I didn't really see it. Please don't listen. My online name has been Krellin for 25 years. That's more time than my birth name has been my identity. Ooh. I've been Trooper. Oh gosh. Krellin, now that you say that, I think I've been Trooper for a long time. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at least 25 years, probably around that too. Probably around that much. I've been Trooper 6, some form of that, probably for 20, 25 years too. I mean, it's crazy, right? I don't think I ever had a different handle. That's been like my handle. Yeah, and Rissa's been Caressa since the late 90s. Yeah, like these are also our names. I am Bunny. I get more and more bunnies because they're on brand. And like Drummer Boy's been Drummer Boy. And Aris, by the way, is an awesome name. And it's funny because I feel like Trooper is also my real name. Like, it is also my real name, right? Like, these are all... Yeah, right? These are also... Actually, you know what's funny? Side note. Sea Spider says, my online identity is as real as my real life one. Yeah. Here's the thing. I actually changed my name, right? As you all know, I transitioned, so I changed my name. So I have been Trooper longer than I have been my name, because I changed my name in, I don't know, 2003, 2002, 2004, 2002. So like, I have been Trooper longer than I've had my civilian name. How is that for interesting? No, that makes sense to me. Yeah. That is so interesting to me. What's the name the specific sound one answers to? Atomica is actually relatively new. My older name died when an old life of mine died. And that's also interesting about being able to switch those things around. I started using Skeksis on dial-up BBS, and it's the nick that I've kept for everything else since. And Levi says, some days I feel like Levi's my real name, and drummers, I don't even drum anymore because I'm the range. I can actually tell what era some of my friends are from what they call me. Actually, it says actually as a D&D character first, then as a handle. You know what's funny? When we talk about all this, I mean, what is a name? A rose by any other name would still smell as sweet. Krellin was the name of my pixie fighter on Batmud. Yeah, I mean, I think that these, in some ways, these are also our real names. If you don't mind sharing the story, why did you change your legal name? Oh, because I transitioned. So I had to get a name change so that I could have a name that matched my gender. So I did my transition. I transitioned in 2001, and then, but it takes a while before you can actually get a legal name change. So I got my legal name change probably like in 2003 or so, probably around then. I actually created this name as a throwaway for Reddit, and then I liked it and I kept it. Mm-hmm. Very few folks I know even use my name. I'm either another name to them or I have various nicknames. I know that one. Military gives you a lot of nicknames. Atomica, oh god. I actually replied to a friend of mine effing something up with, you didn't have the range, and chuckled, and it just got so confused. Didn't have the range. Not if you call them Stench Blossom. Hrothgar, you're translating? Oh yeah, totally, I am. Oh, welcome back to Thing You Like. Yes, I did. It is true. I transitioned right before I turned 30. I was like, I will not turn 30 and not have sort of been able to sort of actualize the body. Like, I was like, I'm gonna get rid of my body dysphoria before I turn 30. And I did, and I feel really good about it. It is a good and awesome thing, but now I'm what some people would call post-transition. So like, I started my transition in 2001. So like, it is almost 20 years since I transitioned. So I'm like, I'm an old trans person, like super old. So much so that, it's very different being 20 years on in your transition than being a youngin'. I actually helped an ex-girlfriend of mine transition that I ministered his wedding to his female to male part. Oh, that is so cool, Atomica. That is awesome. That is so cool. All the love. Wouldn't like, it's good peoples. And it's funny, like, I sometimes forget that I'm trans because it just doesn't come up that often. You know what I mean? Because, I don't know, a person's gender sometimes isn't even. Old is only a number in your passport. Tell that to my knees. No, I'm not, but in my inside, I'm not old. I'm just perfectly vintage. Whoa, hi down there. Ahoy there, May. Is that Mr. Salvi? What are you doing in a boat? In the tunnel? In the late afternoon? What are you doing home from school? You answer first. I guess I kind of dropped. You answer first. Mm-hmm. It's my side hustle. Salvi's Salvage. What's that? I'm a junk man, May. Are you not mowing lawns anymore? Oh no, I'm still doing the landscaping, but I'm also a purveyor of fine goods for the discerning antique enthusiast. Okay, side hustle, yeah. You want to come along? Boat ride back into the tunnel? Gonna be a short trip today, but might be fun. Sure. Yeah, let's do boat ride. Let's see. Cyber knees, when old hats fits well. Doesn't feel noteworthy being who you are. It's true, Levi. I don't even think about it. I wish I hadn't let my license lapse, but I have others to take care of. Trooper isn't old, but I am. Of course, the reason Trooper isn't old is because he's barely 18. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Trooper's knees stop acting old, and that's now. I feel like, to be honest, my knees aren't that bad unless I'm trying to go and do like a real like groovy dancing that involve a lot of like deep knee bends. And I was like, ooh, it's my hips. Trooper's only born when he turned 30, and that is fair. Aris. I held my great nephew last weekend. What? I feel way older than my parts say I should be. Great nephew, that's amazing, Aris. What? That's amazing. That's amazing. Can I ask how you decided your new legal name when you transitioned? When I was a kid, I imagined changing my name to Renee, but I grew into the real one. Was it a name you always liked? Our knees stayed in the military. That is so true, Baron. That thing says, I'm 21. Woo, I can drink everywhere, but I feel old sometimes. When I was 21, I felt so old, and now I feel younger than I did at 21, weirdly. Go to the chiropractic. Chiropractors are great. My middle child is considering transitioning. Oh, well, just be supportive and, like, let them experiment stuff, and you have, like, they have time. You know what I mean? Like, you don't, if you like, transition is a long process. It takes a couple of years. You can start and then stop. Like, it is, like, you have options, and you can sort of take whatever journey you want through whatever thing you got. Like, it is a much more open time period now, and people can sort of be where they want to be. Pop and lock has a different meaning when old dancing. Yeah, it used to be popping and locking. Now you're just like, oh, now I'm crack, snap, crackle, pop and locking. I never liked my birth name. That's why I'm Krellin. For a short time, I went by my middle name in school. What I did when I did change my name is that I kept my last name. I changed my middle name from my biological father to my stepfather, because I had my biological father's middle name, which I was like, I don't even know that guy. So I changed it to my stepfather, who I think is awesome. And then for my first name, I just sort of masculinized my original name so that I could sort of keep my nickname, because people still call me Steph sometimes. And that's it. And now it's all pop. It's all pop. And we're gonna get on this boat. This probably isn't smart. It's pretty safe. I just need a second pair of hands. I usually take on one of the kids over there. Hey teens, I'm going on this boat now. Just saying, like, if anyone should ask. I got on this boat with Mr. Salvi here. Okay, thanks. Okay, let's go. So for no serial killing right there. I begin to like my real life name now that I know someone, picked it. And lots of folks from somewhere else drive past. Between Fort Lucin and Willow Grove. We're making bad choices. It's cool. That was May realizing she's a young woman, and that is true. That's exactly what it is. Be glad, Parentor, when it's mostly lock, it sucks. Oh, hey, old person joint jokes. I need to go to the chiropractor because because I sit all the time, and then, like, my hips don't like it. My hips don't lie. And they like going to antique shops out here. I think they think it's exclusive or something. And that's the side hustle. Wow. Do they know it's garbage? It's not garbage. Sorry. Here, we're coming up on one now. You'll see. This is not creepy at all, right? It's not creepy at all. What are we even doing? We're making bad choices. It's awesome. This is garbage. Your hips like going to antique. Your hips don't lie, Trooper. Give Shakira her hips back. I need to give Shakira her hips back. Hey, there's a murderer around. Let's go on a boat with a weirdo and go into the dark. Great idea. Great idea. I know I'm not even a skeleton hobo. It's an island of garbage. Your garbage is my priceless antique once it's cleaned up a bit. Look around, find something. Is this thing safe to walk on? Oh yeah, years of sediment and rocks and junk. Huh, you called it junk too. Okay. Huh, big axe. Do I want a big garbage axe? I feel like we do want a big garbage axe. We're gonna get the big garbage axe. What is this? Oh wow, it's a thing. A sled? Really bad boat? Maybe you like sleep in it? A tiny garbage hammock? Should I take this garbage bed? No. We're gonna take the axe, just in case this guy's an axe murderer. It's so big and axey. Ooh, can we take them both? We're gonna take them both. Oh, no. We want the axe. That's what we want. Wait. Does May think she doesn't think she's a skeleton hobo? She doesn't think about these things. Krellin Trooper will always be a skeleton hobo inside. And what I like about the foxhole is that I can have the chance to rethink things. There's a skeleton inside Trooper controlling his every movement. Oh, save the world, Rissa, from that pandemic. Also, we're gonna stop this stream once I can get to a saving point. Find anything good? Killer garbage axe. Oh, nice. Looks like an old fire axe from somewhere. Axe murderer garbage axe. Yes, you can concealably murder someone with this. Have to sharpen it first. Oh, I'll sharpen it. Planning on murdering someone? I'll keep my options open. Oh dear. Krellin needs to feed the cats. I know that one ear twitch when May picked up the axe, just like my kitty. Homicide incoming. And somehow he'd run over his own foot. No. With the mower. Aha! Yeah, he's got a limp now, but he still comes to work. Jeez. Gotta work. Oof. Yeah, sounds like there's a badness. Okay, so remember how I said I needed a second pair of hands? Yeah, May would totally be the murderer, Krellin. I need to clean the dishes, but I finished a big tune yesterday and I'm feeling drained and lazy. Congrats on finishing that big tune, drummer boy. That's amazing. Oh, yeah. Oh, pots and pans. Oh, yeah, what was that about? So there's a little panel back where you are. Gonna need you to use it and move this light up here. Wait, why? We got bats down here. So? I don't like bats. But bats like bugs. And bugs like light. So you're gonna shine that light all around them and get them to scatter. Looking for bugs. They mostly go away for a while when they scatter. Oh, okay. My body's essentially just a biomech suit for my brain, says Sea Spider. I understand that. Krellin, I wasted half an hour going to court today, so I bought myself chicken and jalapeno poppers to get over it. Ooh, that sounds really good, Krellin. I want chicken. Now get ready, we're coming up to a place they like to cluster together. Okay, I got it. I don't know if I got it. Here we go. Up above me. Okay. Here we go. Oh. Wow. Did most of them leave? I think so. Sure were a lot of them. Ugh, I hate them. But bats are cute. They're not. Can I take a bat home? Ain't no bat getting on my boat. Sooner swim back than have a goddamn bat in my boat. Okay. No bats. No bats. Alright, we're coming up on another island. Someone described a fight as two brains telling their muscles how to slam their skeletons into each other. Everyone get chicken, I declared. Oh, I'm gonna get chicken. Garbage hoe! I think we're gonna... Oh, here we go. By the way, when we finish this sequence, cutting it. You gonna look around? No, I'm gonna hang out in the boat. Of course I'm gonna look around. You're sarcastic like your dad. She did just call herself a garbage hoe. Oh, beef stew. Do you still talk to my dad? Oh yeah, I get my meat from him once a week. Last fall, us and some of the boys from the factory days went up to Stutter's old hunting camp. You get anything? Ed Gress got a 6-point buck. Oh, nice. All right, let's go. We have a schedule to keep. I wonder what kind of weird serial killer things I'm going to pick up this time. Barontor, I had some beef tacos today, and they were not good. And I feel like I can't have beef tacos from this place anymore because they're not satisfying. And that makes me sad. That's all I'm saying. A fan shirt with glittery garbage hoe lettering. Oh my god. It's a coconut monkey. Like the one Granddad brought back from Hawaii. Oh, we gotta get that. Do I want this coconut friend? Yes. Welcome to the family, Mr. Monkey. I love you so much, we've just met. Oh, totally. I mean, without a doubt, we're getting that coconut monkey. Holy shit. Dracula teeth. They're so rad. I could totally be a Dracula. Of all the false teeth in the world, Dracula teeth are the best. Should I take these excellent Dracula teeth instead of my dear friend coconut monkey? No. I can get new ones for like $1 over at the Ham Panther. I don't know if vintage Dracula teeth are that much of a find. Right, this is what I'm saying. I know, disappointing. Tonight was tonkatsu ramen. Ooh. I need to have dinner. I'm gonna have dinner though. There's nothing worse than an unsatisfying taco. Like, oh, Krellin. Jack in the Box tacos are not satisfying at all. I do not approve of them. So no, we're talking about no. I had Del Taco when I was in California. It was delicious on my way back from the cruise. Also, Taco Bell's tacos aren't bad. But like Jack in the Box tacos are not good. Ooh, Burger King tacos sound like they're not good at all. But these tacos are like this little place and they just weren't great. They weren't great. They were, I don't know, they were just off a little bit where I was like, this is not satisfying. So I'm gonna have to make up for it with something good for food tonight. Find anything good? Coconut monkey. Oh, wow. Is it still good? He's a little soft and he smells like trash water, but when he's all dried out, he's gonna be a regular member of the family. Heh, all right. You're not gonna steal him from your shop or anything, right? No. Not even tempted? I think I can let this one go, May. And that's how I saved Longest Night. Oh yeah, no, Del Taco's a smaller chain. I enjoy Del Taco quite a lot because they've got great fries. And they've got, like, you can get a burrito, fries, and a shake, and I love that. I could do chicken nugs too if I'm going full fry. I heard about something called an air fryer, which is like a deep fryer, but instead of using oil, you use air, and apparently it's really good, but I've never seen one. I actually find tacos kind of boring in general. I like good tacos. Why would someone order tacos at Burger King? I do not understand. Hey, Taco Bell got sued over using too much filler, so now their taco meat is 90% meat. Oh, and I'm a ranching state, so the meat is local. Oh, I bet your Taco Bell's really good, Krellin. When I was in Germany, the fast food was delicious because they have really strict food laws, and it was like really good. Is that a maybe it's a convection? I don't know. Del Taco is fresh avocado as well. Del Taco. Maybe, yeah. Oh, you have an air fryer. So is it a convection oven or is it different? Yeah, I do the old method, but I was a fry cook for years, so I can make some mean fries and nugs. Drummer boy. We're all just gonna come over to your house, drummer boy, and have food at your place one of these days. Del Taco is bougie though, like 2 times Del Taco prices. It was pretty decent in California. You know what's super expensive? Like McDonald's is expensive. Like they're pricey. They're pricey. Wow. Did you ever tell your kids? What? No, it spoiled the magic. Did they ever notice your neck scar? If they did, they never said nothing. What happened to this guy? Did the cops ever catch the guy? Oh no, he's still out there. But he ain't coming back anytime soon. This is all sketchy, people. Wow, great story. Middle of the nowhere Canada sounds like it could be exciting. German food laws are not strict at all. Denmark's are stricter. Germany's food laws are way stricter than the United States, is what I'm going to tell you. And you notice it immediately when you go from the US to Germany. Yeah. Like no artificial colors or flavors. Not the US at all. There's no added vitamins and candy here. Road trip to Drummer Boys. Are you like in Alberta? Drummer Boy, are you like in Alberta? Are you like a cowboy? Maybe? Bat nest. Do bats have nests? Whatever. Get the light ready. Shine it up there and get rid of them. Saskatchewan. Canada has a good tradition of country music. Aye, aye, sir. Here they come. We're gonna get them all. All of them? We're gonna get them. Air fryer could work for you though, Trooper. Lots of you lots you can do with it. One brand also doubles as a pressure cooker. Oh. There are some like really good machines out there that I need to like check out in my life one day. Here we go, here we go. Bats. Oh my gosh. So many bats. Wow. Did most of them leave? I think so. I got them good. Whew. Thanks, kid. I'm 20. Well, at my age, that's plenty kid enough. Rude. Come on. Coming up on another island. So this is a much longer sequence than I thought. How many of these are there down here? Oh, I ain't counted. Seem to find new ones all the time. And lose old ones. Spooky. We're pretty far back now. It's always a bit spooky. Yeah, we're doing our, like, serial killer thing. Oh, wait. What's happening? Oh, island. Whoa, old trolley car over here. There's a lot down here. I'm having pizza for dinner. No, I want pizza. Now I want pizza with chicken on it. Yellowknife. Although you might get a kick out of my town's history, Al Capone had a hooch operation here in the tunnels. Drummer boy! Al Capone had a hooch operation where you're at? I totally want... Now I want to go to your town. Now I want to go to your town because Al Capone, tunnels, hooch, that's my life. Well, I mean, it's not actually my life, but it's like, I love that. Yeah, we're getting close to where the flood really hit hardest. The flood. I can't imagine this place still up and running. It's quite something. Had a sense of going somewhere. Yeah. Way back when they got those new trolley cars. They were designed by some company overseas. Big and fancy, like France or something. They are pretty. Yeah, they still got their charms. You gonna look around? Sure. We're gonna find something really cool. What? I don't know. First rule, so Del Taco is only 1.5 times Taco Bell. Al Capone had hooch! The only issue with kitchen gadgets is I always have Alton Brown yelling in the back of my head, no unitaskers. That's true. Al Capone was a busy dude. Taco Bell is 125. Taco Bell Taco is 125, but Del Taco Taco is 175. Oh. I saw Alton Brown on that web page that has everybody eat the hot wings. Oh, huh. I wonder how old this is. It's pretty soggy. What sport even is this? It's a sports mystery. The worst kind of mystery. It's pretty, though. Do I want this thing? We're gonna say no? It's gross and I don't care about sports. Anymore. Oh, because you remember... May was in softball when that incident happened. I think she stabbed somebody? Oh, nice. Football, our official religion around here. I could totally wear this. It's functional. I could totally wear this in the winter in case I slip on the ice. I could wear this if I was in a fight. I could probably stop a bullet even. I don't know. It smells inside though. Do I even want this thing? Oh. Do I want the football helmet or that weird rando thing? Let's get the helmet. There's a new good eats. Hot Ones. Thank you, drummer boy. That's the one I was talking about. Hot Ones. You know that the Wabasha caves I mentioned in your game? Yes. One of Capone's speakeasies. Oh. Oh. Capone versus Blackbeard. I need to see that rap battle. It's functional because that seems interesting. I'd be in... No. I do enjoy the epic rap battles of history. May has a helmet, an axe, and a coconut buddy. She's gonna be a quirky barbarian. Find anything good? Football helmet. Oh, you sure you want that? Did I finally find something you want? Well, I mean, it's cool. You take it. No, it's all right. It's your boat. It's your garbage. You can have it. No, that's fine, May. No, I think you should have it. No, May, you take it. Take it! I don't want it. Neither do I. Take it. It's yours. God damn it, you take this effing helmet. No! Ah! You go straight to hell! Are you okay? Yeah, sorry I yelled. Me too. You happy with your helmet? Yeah, it's functional. Linked in Discord even before you said, Trooper. Thank you, Krellin. I don't know what kind of D&D this is. This progresses to May's just gonna use the axe. She's gonna kill this guy. Any more bats to get rid of? Nah, they don't come back this far to sleep. They fly around a good bit back here, though. Unless you clear them off before you get here. Where even are we? Almost to the far platform. Oh, wow. Is that where we're going? Well, you got rid of most of the bats back there, so maybe we can make one last stop at the big one. The big one? Thank God I wasn't down here when the flood hit. The river jumped, right? Yeah, flood was bad enough. River just up and moved. Had something to do with the reservoir, too. I forget. I guess it was a while ago. Weird to think that rivers can move. Oh, they're always moving, kid. 20 years old? They're just usually moving in one direction. No one's really prepared for when it stops doing what it's always been doing. All right, here we are. The big one. Have any of you all seen that film, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World? Because if you haven't, you should. This is how you get left on Trash Island. Axe murdering. Pfft. Yeah, definitely depression, Trooper. I think so. If you look at the helmet, your head wouldn't be on the floor right now, old man. If you took the helmet. By the way, make sure you're watching the rap battle, particularly the background actors. I will. Trooper, do you have something dinner ready? No, I'm going to have to... I have not put in the Grubhub order yet, but I will. And I don't know when to eat yet. I don't know when to eat yet. Yeah. All right. Wow. This looks like something I dreamed or something. Oh, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World is this comedy from the 60s with like all these famous comedians at that point in time. And it starts off with Jimmy Durante. He's this old guy, like basically it's a bunch of cars driving on these winding roads up in, I don't know, Nevada, something. And like you look kind of like the one lane road, like one lane one way, one lane the other. And he's just like speeding like mad, passing all these cars like a maniac. And everyone's like, whoa. And then he just like zooms off. He just like, his car just goes right over the edge. And a number of the people who were like driving clamp like in a couple, like 4 different cars. They climb down to find this guy to see if he's okay. And Jimmy Durante goes like, I gotta tell you, it's $20,000, or like, it was a lot of money. Might have been 20,000, might have been 50,000 or 100,000 or 500. It was like probably not 500,000. That's a lot. Like 50,000, like 50,000 big ones in the park in Santa Clarita under a big W. I tell you, it's buried under a big W. And then he kicks this bucket and then he dies. And all the people are like, oh, well, he must have been just making things up. No one believes that story about $50,000 under a big W in the park in Santa Clarita. And so all the people are like, let's get back in our cars. And I just imagine that like nothing happened. And then of course they all just start speeding off because it becomes basically a race to try to get to the park in Santa Clarita to find the $50,000 under the big W. And so so they're basically, somebody said something about it. He literally kicks a bucket. It was hilarious. So that was right. Somebody, I don't know why I brought it up. I brought it up because of like the big W. Yes, Krellin, I'm going to order a chicken pizza. That is what I'm eating. I'm going to get like a chicken pizza that is delicious. No, it's totally a TTRPG campaign, and it would be, I'm going to tell you, it would make a great sort of like a short little like 4 or 5 shot campaign. And do not think I could actually maybe do something like that maybe I could do something really cool like that in Clockwork Dominion. I'm thinking about it because I'm thinking about I'm gonna finish this. It's familiar some ways. Back then they thought the trolleys would stay on the track come a big flood, but nah, they went right along with the water, bobbing up and down, crashing to big piles like this. Jeez. I have to tell you about, it would be a great Fiasco game. I have to tell you something about gaming. Do you know how much media was TTRPG camps before DD campaign came? I think that's actually true. It was sort of the same idea as Rat Race, but it was actually funny. Atomica? Yes. Oh my gosh, everybody was in it. Jimmy Durante, Sid Caesar, Max Baer, There's no business like show business. Ethel Merman, like everybody was in that one, like amazing. Can't fix something like this. What are you gonna do? Dam up the river? Dig this whole thing out? Nobody got that money. Nobody got that time. This is like visiting someplace beyond the grave, like where you go when you die. Some folks did die down here. Oh, yeah. You gonna go look around? Have to say, not much back this far usually. Most stuff washes in from side channels. Gets caught up back where we came from. Yeah, I think I'll still look around. What's wild, Jer, is they're going to have The Simpsons on Disney. Oh. Wasn't Mad World the thing that made them decide Cannonball Run was a good idea? Yes. Also, I enjoyed... I need to watch Cannonball Run. Spencer Tracy was a police detective. Yes. Yes. Oh, people, I'm just telling you. I want to do some kind of great race RPG. I had this whole idea of doing a great race, a bicycle race during the Depression, because clearly I cannot get enough of historicals. I was thinking about a bicycle race from LA to San Francisco in the 1930s as part of like a Great Depression thing. I'm still thinking about doing it. I think it could be a really good campaign. I've got some ideas in there that could be kind of like a little neat little hook in there. And I'm just telling you, I've got some ideas about, like, I really thought it'd be really cool to do like a bicycle race because you've got like fatigue and stuff like that. But I'm going to do some kind of road race or air race RPG scenario, and I'm going to do it on my channel. When am I going to do it? I don't know. Cannonball Run's $1 million box office guessing. I mean, I saw it. I saw that movie. What is this? Wonder what this used to lock up. Really old lock. Pretty neat key. Someone bought this to keep something safe or secret. Do I want to take this? Let's say no for the moment. It's just junk now, and I got nothing to lock up anyways. Yeah, but maybe I do want it. It's 9:30. I'm just getting out of here. I got to get this. I got to get to a save point. Wow. What if it still works? Should probably clean all the mud out of it first. Do I want to take this? Yeah. It's really pretty. It should have someone to appreciate it. Also, I totally want that big tuba. And we're getting out of here, people. This is our last one, and then we're going. Find anything good? Horn. Looks like a pack horn, maybe. I'm gonna clean it out. Maybe play it. Or at least make some noise. Good plan. It's real pretty. Shame to leave it down here. You rescued it. I'm a hero. I'll call the papers. Wow. I'm still hoarding all the things. Here we are. Wow. Hey, here we are. Looks like I don't get to talk to him anymore. Where are we? This old man is sweet and not a murderer at all. If there's anyone a murderer, as people point out, it's May. So that's it. That's the other mural. It's so... Yeah. Basically the only thing back here that survived the flood. I just think it's nice that it's not gone. Yeah, I guess. Forgotten maybe, but not gone. Well, not forgotten yet. I wonder if in like 500 years some archaeologists will find it and wonder what it meant. Sometimes I think in 50 years no one will know what it meant. Places can't control how they're remembered. They just hang out and then fall apart. Oh. You okay, May? She is not okay. Yeah. I'll be fine. I'm just gonna look for a minute. Take your time. Yeah. The depression is real with this one. Nai pulls away, leaving May here. Maybe she'll be easier to kill in a week or so with no food. Like, ooh. Junebug. So I think right? Yeah, no, May was never okay. Yeah. Thanks for joining me. That was great. I could totally do this as a job. Oh no, a competitor. I'm gonna get me a boat and go find some trash and sell it to rich dorks. That's the spirit. Take care. You too. Good luck. We're gonna get out of the tunnels and then I'm gonna get a pizza. Pizza. Yeah. Did I mention that they, in 3-4 years, restore my elementary middle school? They give them a lighter to light the TNT. Chicken pizza! All right. This, my friends, is where we save. This is where we save. Yes. So I gotta get pizza, everybody, or else I don't even know what's gonna happen to me. I'm gonna be without pizza in my life. We got like a good hour and a half worth of the game in. That's true. Ooh, with tomatoes, maybe a white sauce. Yeah, I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna order a pizza. It's like 9:30. I'm sure their pizza place is still open because college. I'm gonna get a pizza and I'm gonna eat it. I'm going to host Critical Role in a half hour at my time. You know, we're gonna have to give Krellin. We're gonna give Krellin a Steam key the next time. I have 30 minutes to the wedding. I don't think my high school is going anywhere. It's historic, and Mark Twain used to hang there a lot. Oh. Ooh. So because we didn't start playing until like so late, we'll do our giveaway next Thursday we play. So here's what's up. I'm going to host Critical Role in a half hour. I'm going to work on my syllabus. I'm probably going to, I don't know if I'm going to dye my beard. I'm probably going to dye my beard tomorrow. But I'm going to be streaming Horizon Zero Dawn on Saturday at noon. Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be in the first episode of the new season of the Purloin Code on Little Red Dot's channel. And then maybe, but probably no streams Thursday and Saturday that week, but then back up to normal afterwards. And what else do I have to tell you? Oh, so I'm gonna go and so I should say this. I've got socials. Where's my thing? Wait, I have to tell you. So I've got socials. I've got a Discord if you're not on it. I've got a Twitter if you want to follow that. I've got a YouTube, which is the archive of the stuff. I've got a Patreon if you want to support my RPG stuff. I'm using it to help pay for cast for shows and props and that sort of thing, costume bits. And I was able to have Jackie Dash play Vivian Sinclair in Cthulhu Confidential last month. July. I would like to do some Cthulhu Confidential either in September or October, either sort of late September, early October. I've got to go and do prep and schedule Algernon Bolden, figure out when he's ready and see if I can do some off schedule prep first, but hopefully I'll be able to go and do another round of Cthulhu Confidential end of September, beginning of October, around then. And your support will help with that. And then after that, we will see what we can do. I have Jackie Dash was so good. And I don't know, because I'm gonna be playing I'll be playing Scum and Villainy on Wednesdays, and so I probably will be doing the Cthulhu Confidential a different day. I just don't know which day yet. It'll be really good. I'm very excited for it. And then after that, we've got more Cthulhu Confidential we can do. I'm thinking about sort of doing one-shots until I can get up enough money to sort of pay, to sort of offset some of the cast costs. Because, like, you know, full-on big cast costs are a bit, for like a full campaign will be a bit much. So I'm hoping through, after some one-shots, I'll build up enough on the Patreon that it won't be all coming out of my pocket all the time. So that's what I'm planning. So we didn't do any on August, but July kind of covered both July and August. So I'm thinking maybe September or early October, depending on how much work I can get done. So, and then I'm going to also check out seeing if I can do, I want to look into, I have a thing I want to do. Here's the thing. I want to do this thing, and I don't know, I can see what I want to do, and it's sort of RPG stuff, related stuff. I just don't know about the timing. And I've got a meeting on the 15th with some people, mysteriousness, that might impact what my schedule will be like. Some possibilities. But the question is about what I'm talking about is the French Resistance game. I would love to do some streams where I talk about putting the campaign together before I actually start the campaign, and how I work through learning a system and what do I think about it. Like, I would love to do that, but we'll see. We'll see about scheduling, because I'm a little bit scheduling busy. But I would love to just sort of add a little bit of a stream to just a little bit of like me working through Fate sort of stream. So like basically some GM prep streams is what I'm thinking about. So we'll see if I can add that to the schedule at some time in the near future. We'll see. I'm thinking Cthulhu Confidential first, and then we'll see if we can get some, because I know what I want to do. What I want to do is, I've read the main core book. I've got some other things I want to read, but I want to make characters and make them with you all together. We can sort of just make some archetypal characters and just see how they work, and then do some I like to do for GM prep, I like to make characters before I do the campaign. I like to make some characters, usually like a core 4 of archetypes, and then run them through and then make some opponents, run them through some challenges to sort of just work through how the system works. Like, how does combat work? How do chases work? How do the different kind of challenges work? How do these, like, let me work through these pieces. Just kind of like some mechanical run throughs, and we can make the characters together and all that. So I think that'll be really fun. But we'll have to see the timing for when we can do it. So that's that. I'm going to go get some pizza. I will see you all in a half hour, 20 minutes, when I'm hosting Critical Role and working on my syllabus. So I want all of you to take care, and I appreciate all of you so very much being so wonderful and making sure that I'm just not dead. So that is something I appreciate very much. And take care of yourselves, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye, everybody. Take care.